Chapter 39. The mountain-shaking ape lowered its body slightly, exposing its fangs outside of its mouth, and let out a low roar of unknown meaning. The instinct of the beast was reminding it that this black snake was far stronger than it had imagined. Xuanhuan was also stunned for a moment, not knowing how to evaluate the sudden change in the wind direction. In the world of demonic beasts, the law of the jungle was always the unchanging truth. Even if a lion in its prime was hunting a little white rabbit with almost no fighting power, it would not hesitate to use its full strength. Words like hiding one's strength and holding back often appeared in human society. Perhaps higher-level demonic beasts would also learn similar actions from humans. However, in the battle between low-level demonic beasts, they often wished they could use 120% of their strength, resulting in a fierce fight between bites and claws. This black snake was actually still hiding its strength until now? The black snake was still gliding slowly in the air, but the blades formed by the ice of the lake brought along a sharp sound as they slammed into the huge body of the mountain-shaking ape. Seeing the ice weapons surrounding the mountain-shaking ape and constantly strangling it, Xuanhuan inexplicably thought of the words of the storytellers in the big cities who praised the top human experts. The existence of that level could scatter countless sword shadows with a raise of their hands, easily tearing everything in front of them into pieces. Although the black snake's method of condensing water into ice was far from the power of the legends, it inexplicably reminded Xuanhuan of the powerful figures of the human race. Countless sharp icicles cut the body of the mountain-shaking ape. Even if the mountain-shaking ape waved the stone stick in its hand and broke all the ice weapons close to it, it was useless, because the broken ice would quickly condense into smaller and sharper icicles, once again joining the ranks of strangling it. Even the surrounding ground was covered with all kinds of sharp icicles. Every time the mountain-shaking ape was forced to retreat by the ice blade storm, a few icicles would be embedded in the soles of its feet. Just as the mountain-shaking ape was still struggling with the ice blade storm, Xuanhuan had already glided to a place more than 10 meters behind it and stabilized its body. The blue-white vertical pupils faintly overflowed with cold air, and the thick snake tail once again turned into a black whip shadow, smashing towards the mountain-shaking ape in front of it. The constantly rotating ice blade storm was like a loyal guard who made way for the king. When it was about to touch Xuanhuan's tail, it dodged in all directions. Boom. The black snake tail smashed down, but it did not hit the back of the mountain-shaking ape, instead it hit the ground. After all, it was a demonic beast close to LV-10 in the past. Even if it was seriously injured, the mountain-shaking ape's combat experience was extremely sharp. At the moment when the ice blade storm behind it stopped strangling, the mountain-shaking ape had already made a dodging posture, and even threw the indestructible stone stick in its hand, directly to the front, penetrating the strangling range of the ice blade storm. The mountain shaking. Xuanhuan's blue-white snake pupils suddenly flashed a touch of light. The ground under the snake tail cracked inch by inch and directly caved in. A large amount of lake water almost instantly poured into the pit made by Xuanhuan. This is a trap? From Xuanhuan's point of view, the black snake's tail smashed the ground, and the ground suddenly caved in, revealing the pit that had been filled with lake water below, while the mountain-shaking ape that rushed out plunged into the lake water. Before the mountain-shaking ape could struggle, the ice blade storm that strangled it scattered by chance, turning into ice chips all over the ground. However, the water where the mountain-shaking ape was in instantly solidified into a huge ice block, firmly imprisoning the mountain-shaking ape in it. Only the mountain-shaking ape's head was exposed, and it was shivering in the surrounding cold air. While fighting head-on with the mountain-shaking ape, it secretly set up a trap. Before the rhythm of the battle entered the stage where the two beasts fought to the death, it used the lake water and ice to control the mountain-shaking ape. The ferocious mountain-shaking ape, in front of this black snake with extraordinary intelligence, did not have any advantage at all. Ding. Congratulations to host for completing the mission, the one and only king. The reward is being calculated. Ding. Congratulations to host for obtaining 3 attribute points. Ding. Congratulations to host for obtaining a random system template X1. Ding. Congratulations to host. Within a radius of 500 miles, there are no demonic beasts of level 5 and above that dare to be your enemy. The second stage of the battle for the Nest mission, the name of the Mountain Master, has been completed. The reward is being calculated. The calculation is complete. In this mission, host killed a total of 6 green main wind stepping foals, 2 green main wind stepping foals, 1 green main wind stepping foal king and 1 mountain shaking ape. Completion rate is 100%. Mission evaluation is A. The reward is being obtained, Ding. Congratulations to host for obtaining 1 attribute point. Ding. Congratulations to host for obtaining a proficiency level template. After defeating the mountain-shaking ape, a series of system notifications rang out. Lin Yuan's initial joy gradually turned into sadness. As expected of the Russian Matryoshka doll system. One trap after another. When the second wave of demonic beasts was lured away by Su Nan, Lin Yuan was still feeling pleased with himself. He felt that he had found a loophole in the system. In the future he might be able to complete many missions with the help of external forces, saving him time and effort. Who would have thought that when the mission was being calculated, the system would give Lin Yuan a tight slap across the face. After completing the first stage of the mission effortlessly, the second wave of demonic beasts did not bring any benefits to Lin Yuan. What the F***ck is this? Forget it, I should have understood the principle of, the more you work, the more you get. Lin Yuan coiled up his snake body and used his mind to ask again, System, can you explain what this template is? The system's synthesized voice rang out again. However, just this was enough for Lin Yuan to hear the endless disdain and doubt in the system's voice. After a while, the system slowly replied, the host can't be so naive as to think that the system only has these insignificant abilities that you have seen so far, right? For example, after the host completes the Battle of the Nests mission, the proficiency level template obtained can be directly used to increase the host's martial arts, cultivation methods, skills, talents, and other cultivation progress. This can greatly reduce the host's time in this aspect and allow the host to complete the advancement in the shortest time possible. The atmosphere suddenly became a little awkward. Other than when Lin Yuan had just obtained the golden body technique and tried to cultivate it once, he had been busy with the ridiculous missions that the system had given him. Therefore, Lin Yuan had not had the chance to cultivate the technique and had even forgotten about it. Chapter 40. Host, Lin Yuan status, Big Black Snake, Evolvable, Realm, 7 out of 10 talent. 1. Identify the enemy's position by smell, cannot be advanced. 2. Form an accurate image of a 500-meter radius around the body by smell, 0/100. 3. Water/ice control, 0 out of 100, speed, 11+1 defense, 10+1 attack, 11+1 assignable points, 4 martial arts, golden body secrets, 0/25, skills. 1. Strangle, 0 out of 100, 2. Venom enhancement, 0 out of 100, 3. Tail strike, 0 out of 100, item. Light feather random system template X1 skill draw number. 1. Looking at the new values that appeared on the attribute panel, Lin Yuan felt his heart beating violently. The huge snake body trembled slightly, and Lin Yuan asked excitedly, System, the advancement of golden body secrets only requires me to invest 25 attribute points? The current level of golden body secrets is relatively low. Every time the host invests an attribute point, it can refine a 1-meter golden body. The host's body is currently about 25 meters long, so golden body secrets can only be invested with 25 attribute points for the time being. In addition, the system kindly reminds the host to have a sense of propriety when dreaming. As if it was stunned by Lin Yuan's daydream, even the system was silent for a while before the synthesized electronic voice sounded again. Is there any other way to increase proficiency other than investing attribute points? Lin Yuan was splashed with a basin of cold water by the system, but he quickly recovered. According to his original cultivation method, even if he ate all the demonic beasts in this area, the energy produced in his body might not be enough to refine his 25-meter snake body. Now he only needed 25 attribute points. In other words, without any mission rewards or heavenly treasures, he would be able to complete the first stage of the golden body technique by killing 25 level 7 demonic beasts. What else could he hope for? The host can also increase proficiency when cultivating by himself or using skills on opponents of the same level or higher level. The system was not stunned by Lin Yuan's daydream this time and quickly gave an answer. Lin Yuan secretly clicked his tongue. Originally, when a proficiency model was released, he thought that the system was going to change. He didn't expect it to be a scam. The proficiency he used before unlocking the model was not included in the calculation. Everything had to start from scratch. Alright, how do I unlock the system model? Lin Yuan suppressed the miscellaneous emotions in his heart and asked the most important question seriously. Although Lin Yuan was only looking at the big picture at the moment, he had seen the benefits of the system's unlocked templates. Naturally, he was very eager about this matter. When the host's strength reaches a certain level, the system will naturally unlock a new model. Alternatively, the host can draw unlimited items or give them to the host through mission rewards. Lin Yuan's forked tongue flickered. He didn't ask the system any more questions. Instead, he sank into deep thought. Although everything had been settled, Su Nan and the mountain-shaking ape were still alive. In addition, Lu Hu, who was still using his own vital energy to resist Lin Yuan's poison, was still alive. Lin Yuan had to think about how to deal with these three. There was no need to say anything more about Lu Hu. Either way, he was going to die. This person was the slave of the Lu clan who had been drooling over him. If he allowed Lu Hu to leave this place alive, who knew what kind of existence would come looking for trouble the next time? As for Su Nan, such a sinister villain could be used well, but unfortunately Lin Yuan could not communicate with other species, let alone communicate with other species. He could not even communicate with his own kind. After careful consideration, Lin Yuan decided to take a gamble and directly drew the skill. After 4 consecutive skill draws, Lin Yuan already had a preliminary understanding of the system's function. In addition to some skills produced by the system, some of Lin Yuan's own thoughts could also affect the result of the skill draw. For example, when he killed the 2-headed gray eagle, the system detected the desire in Lin Yuan's heart and created a mutated skill to tempt Lin Yuan. Also, when he drew the skill the last time, the system also detected that Lin Yuan didn't want to fight with the high-level human experts for the time being, so it created a stealth skill. These skills seemed to be very useful, but in fact they were still the system's pitfalls. A skill that he didn't know what kind of mutation it would produce, and a skill that seemed very useful but didn't have the slightest use in the situation at that time. Compared to the other skills, it was simply a wrong answer that looked like the standard answer. But this time Lin Yuan planned to use this loophole in the system to take a gamble. It didn't matter if he lost the gamble. At worst he could just kill all 3 of them. He could even recover a wave of attribute points to stop his loss. Skill. Scale armor. After seeing the golden dragon saber in Lu Hu's hand and the stone staff in the mountain-shaking ape's hand, you have deep doubts about your own defense. This skill is a passive skill. After the host selects it, the host will undergo a molting. The new skin will become hard scales, and it will be difficult for ordinary swords to damage it. Dissolving poison. As a gigantic serpent, your venom is of little value to you. After choosing this skill, you can dissolve your venom into any liquid. Even the lake you are in, as long as you are willing, and with enough time, you can turn it into a poisonous pond that is a forbidden zone for life. Skill. Spirit of all things. You have now become the new Beast King, but a Beast King has always been a role model. There is no need for you to do everything by yourself. Therefore, how to communicate with your subordinates has become the most troublesome problem for you. After obtaining this skill, you can communicate with any sentient creature. Success. Seeing the 3 new skills that had been refreshed, Lin Yuan's face immediately showed a hint of joy. This round of skill selection could be said to be good or bad. After all, the scale armor and dissolving poison skills were dispensable to him. Especially the scale armor skill. When the golden body secrets was cultivated to the peak, he could completely become invulnerable to swords and spears, water and fire. Then why would he want a scale armor that was difficult to be damaged by ordinary swords? After selecting the Spirit of All Things skill, Lin Yuan suddenly felt his mind suddenly shake. It was as if a large amount of information had suddenly entered his mind, causing his brain to shut down a little. The scene in front of him was a little blurry. Shaking his huge snake head, he regained his clarity. Lin Yuan once again froze the ice that was controlling the mountain-shaking ape. Just a moment ago, Lin Yuan almost let the mountain-shaking ape break free from its current restraint. "Let me go, you disgusting long worm." The mountain-shaking ape roared again, but this time when the roar fell into Lin Yuan's ears, it was clearly translated into a meaning that Lin Yuan could understand. "Shut up." Spitting out the snake tongue, Lin Yuan raised his snake head and looked down at the mountain-shaking ape trapped in the ice. Chapter 41. Lin Yuan's snake hiss fell into the mountain-shaking ape's ears, and it immediately understood what he meant. The latter was slightly startled, obviously in a state of shock. Although the mountain-shaking apes were a group of demonic beasts with a very high growth limit, before they surpassed level 10, they could only communicate with the apes within their group. Therefore, it had never thought that this black snake could understand the meaning of its roar. Now, its life and death were all in the black snake's hands, and it still insulted the other party as a disgusting long worm. In an instant, the mountain-shaking ape felt his entire body turn cold, even colder than the ice around him. I defeated you. In the future I will be the only beast king in this area. You, as my defeated opponent, will be my subordinate in the future. Lin Yuan didn't care about the mountain-shaking ape's insults. Instead, he tried his best to maintain a friendly attitude while communicating with the other party. It was just 1 or 2 insults. In his previous life, everything he experienced was countless times worse than a few insults, but he still endured it, didn't he? A monster with a growth limit of level 10 and a huge group behind it. All of these were resources that could be used in Lin Yuan's eyes. Impossible. We, the mountain-shaking ape clan, can die in battle, but we will never surrender. The mountain-shaking ape growled again as if to prove its words. Even if it was controlled by Lin Yuan in the ice, it still struggled violently. Although the ice was cracked everywhere, the frozen flesh was also torn off a large piece. According to this extent of struggle, it was hard to say whether the mountain-shaking ape could break free from the ice, but it could definitely kill itself. Whoosh! With a sharp sound of something breaking through the air. A pitch-black, sharp snake tail suddenly appeared, hanging in front of the mountain-shaking ape. Lin Yuan said slowly, "If you are willing to be used by me, I can find a way to heal your injuries, let you return to the depths of the Xuanhuan Mountains, and let your tribe accept you again. What you have to pay is just to do something that you can for me before I heal you." Upon hearing Lin Yuan's enticement, the mountain-shaking ape's struggles gradually weakened. Compared to humans, a demonic beast with some intelligence was still a lot more immature. For example, when an ordinary beast king absorbed the demonic beasts in their territory for their own use, it was nothing more than wanting to beat the other party into submission. However, Lin Yuan's words pierced the softest part of the mountain-shaking ape's heart. Heal his injuries and return to his race. These 2 points were unimaginably tempting to the exiled mountain-shaking ape. That's impossible. Even Lord Sage couldn't do anything about those injuries. How could a long, black snake like you possibly do it? The mountain-shaking ape pursed his lips, and there was already a hint of interest in his eyes. You and I are both demonic beasts. We don't play the hypocritical tricks of humans. Demonic beasts don't lie to other demonic beasts. 2 years at most. If I can't heal your injuries, you can do whatever you want with me. Lin Yuan stared at the mountain-shaking ape in front of him with a burning gaze, once again increasing the temptation. Ding. Congratulations to the host. You have touched the desire of the mountain-shaking ape and activated the special mission, Demon Beast's Oath. Name, Demon Beast's Oath. Description. Although demonic beasts live in the jungle where the strong preys on the weak, the bonds between their race and their companions are exceptionally strong. Most demonic beasts value their own promises very much. Please follow your own oath and heal the injuries of the mountain-shaking ape within 2 years and help it return to the mountain-shaking ape's race. Mission reward. The friendship of the mountain-shaking ape race and the eternal loyalty of the mountain-shaking ape Batu. Failure punishment. The system will imprison the host and let the mountain-shaking ape Batu do whatever he wants with you. Damn it. Lin Yuan was shocked. He never thought that he would actually trigger a special mission from the system just by tricking the mountain-shaking ape to work for him. This was definitely the system deliberately tricking him. Batu believes you. Demonic beasts don't lie to other demonic beasts. The mountain-shaking ape grinned at Lin Yuan and roared cheerfully, "From now on, Batu will help you. If you can't fulfill your promise in 2 years, Batu will tear you apart." Ding. Congratulations to the host, the contract is completed. Ding. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained the temporary loyalty of the mountain-shaking ape Batu, 2 years. The facial nerves of a snake were not as rich as those of a human, and even less than those of a Batu. Moreover, Lin Yuan was originally a black snake. Otherwise, anyone could easily see that Lin Yuan's face was so gloomy that it was almost dripping water. This story told Lin Yuan that in the future, he should not make verbal promises casually. Otherwise the system would tell him what was cruel. However, 2 years was 2 years. With the help of the system, he would undoubtedly grow to an extremely terrifying level in 2 years. No matter how difficult the injuries on Batu's body were, with his strength at that time and the power of the system, could it not be healed? With a thought, Lin Yuan released the ice that imprisoned Batu. Twisting his snake body, Lin Yuan came in front of Su Nan. The snake's head was slightly lowered, only 2 meters away from Su Nan. As long as the snake gently rolled its tongue, Su Nan would be swallowed into its mouth and chewed into a pile of minced meat. Su Nan. Lin Yuan slowly said. You called me? Suddenly hearing someone call his name, Su Nan's body trembled. He raised his head in disbelief and looked at the blue-white eyes of the black snake in front of him. Just now, when the black snake and the mountain-shaking ape roared, he had an inexplicable feeling that these two incomparably terrifying beasts were communicating with each other. However, as soon as this thought arose, Xuanhuan threw it out of his mind. Two spirit-awakening stage demonic beasts, no matter how heaven-defying their combat strength and intelligence were, it was impossible for them to communicate like humans. Until now, the black snake had called out his name. Xuanhuan, you are a very smart person. I think you must have seen that I am extraordinary, right? Seeing that you are a promising talent, this seat will tell you the truth. I am the reincarnation of an ancient demonic emperor, and I am currently in the process of recovering my strength. In the near future, I will re-establish the ancient demonic court and unify the xuanhuan mountain range. If you are willing to serve this seat will give you unimaginable benefits. Lin Yuan's voice rang out again, still like the whispers of a demon, leading the other party into the abyss of depravity. It was hard to say whether or not there was an ancient demonic court or demonic emperor in this world, but if Lin Yuan wanted to use his unfathomable mysteries to fool people, wouldn't it be easy for him to do so? As for betraying him? Lu who might betray him in order to serve the Lu clan, but for a selfish person like Xuanhuan, compared to serving the Lu clan or a human dynasty, his own benefits were far more important. Chapter 42. Lin Yuan coiled his snake body and quietly looked at Xuanhuan's back as he walked further and further away. Batu sat cross-legged on the side and looked at Xuanhuan's fleeting figure. He said in a low, muffled voice, "Boss, these humans are not worthy of trust. Their hearts are 100 times more vicious than the bone-rotting grass. If you let him go like this, you will definitely regret it in the future." Lin Yuan did not comment and slowly said, "Batu, have you ever seen a poisonous snake allow others to trample on it and not retaliate?" "No, poisonous snakes are bad. When I was still a cub, there was a poisonous snake that wanted to eat me." Batu shook his huge head. His whole body exuded a silly temperament. The communication between demon beasts did not have the hypocritical polite words of humans. When Batu said these words, he did not consider that his new boss was also a poisonous snake. "You go first. Come find me when you have recovered from your injuries." Lin Yuan was too lazy to argue with this silly fellow. He just waved his snake tail and signaled Batu to leave quickly. He still wanted to try out the new proficiency function of the system. Naturally, he could not do it in front of Batu. After all, Batu could not rely on his own strength to survive in the xuanhuan mountain range because of his injuries. For the entire mountain-shaking ape clan, Batu was still their companion. This was unquestionable. A demon beast that was once close to level 10 came to the periphery of the xuanhuan mountain range with injuries that affected his foundation. If not for the secret protection of the mountain-shaking ape clan, Batu would never have lived so comfortably. Even excluding Lin Yuan, who was an anomaly with the system, most demon beasts relied on devouring the flesh and blood of other demon beasts to evolve. Only a small number of demon beasts that were lucky and strong could become the guardian demon beasts of some spiritual objects. Strictly speaking, the current Lin Yuan was the guardian of the green-leaf aqua lotus. If Lin Yuan could live for 3,000 years, then he would be able to eat the green-leaf aqua lotus and obtain the opportunity to ascend. Lin Yuan guarded his own nest, which was also the green-leaf water lotus. The danger involved was simply not something that an ordinary level 6 or level 7 demon beast could withstand, not to mention that even the mountain-shaking ape was attracted. If Lin Yuan was just an ordinary black snake at this moment, it was estimated that he would have been torn into pieces by Batu. The competition between demonic beasts was so fierce. Therefore, Batu, who was seriously injured at that time, was definitely the meat of Tang Seng in the eyes of all the demonic beasts in this area. If it weren't for the secret protection of the mountain-shaking ape, this mountain-shaking ape, who was now the overlord, would have long become food in the stomach of others. Therefore, Lin Yuan neither wanted nor dared to gamble. If the mountain-shaking ape had any evil intentions with Lin Yuan's current condition, his only choice was to abandon the nest that he had painstakingly guarded and flee to other areas. From Xuanhuan's words, Lin Yuan had a general understanding of this mountain-shaking ape tribe. It was said that they were a branch of a large tribe. They lived in the depths of the xuanhuan mountains, but that was only relative. The weakest demonic beast that lived there was at least level 9 strength. It was said that demonic beasts of the wisdom state were not rare either. In that area, the mountain-shaking ape tribe was considered the absolute overlord. The nearest human city to Lin Yuan was called Mountain Blocking City. It was also the city where the Lu clan was located. The resident population there was about 300,000 to 600,000. Of course, Most of the people who entered and left Mountain Blocking City were demon slayers of varying strengths. It was said that Mountain Blocking City was originally the largest demonic beast material trading market in the vicinity. Later on it slowly became a city. With the strength of the mountain-shaking ape tribe, if they went all out, they would be able to destroy half of Mountain Blocking City in less than half a day. When Bata left, his footsteps still made thunderous sounds as he landed on the ground. His speed was extremely fast. In less than 30 steps, he disappeared from Lin Yuan's sense of smell. Lin Yuan let out a long breath. Twisting his snake body, he leisurely returned to the lake. He landed his body in the deep water area where undercurrents were surging. Only then did he call up the system's proficiency model. Ding! Congratulations to host for killing level 8 wild monster Lu Hu. Reward, 2 attribute points. At this moment, the true chi in Lu Hu's body was completely exhausted. He was instantly killed by Lin Yuan's snake venom. A fresh life was turned into 2 attribute points on Lin Yuan's interface. Lin Yuan did not feel guilty about this at all. He only sneered in his heart. After placing 1 attribute point into the golden body secrets, a warm current began to flow within Lin Yuan's body. It turned into pure energy and was refined into Lin Yuan's flesh. Lin Yuan slightly glanced to the side. The water around him instantly froze, forming a sparkling and translucent ice crystal mirror. Lin Yuan's 25-meter-long snake body was reflected in the mirror. The strengthening effect of the golden body secrets was very ideal. Lin Yuan's tail was 1 meter above the tip, all of it had turned into a dark gold color. Swinging his dark gold snake tail, Lin Yuan instantly tore a 3-meter-deep hole in the already muddy soil. From start to finish, the muddy soil did not bring any resistance to Lin Yuan. Amazing! Lin Yuan calmed his twisting snake body. His vertical pupils shone brightly. He originally thought that the golden body secrets was an amazing martial art. Now it seemed that he had underestimated it. This was not just a defensive martial art. On a giant snake like Lin Yuan, it could also be used as a main attack method. In the past, Lin Yuan's snake tail only relied on the strength of his body to resist the enemy. But now, as long as he used the golden body secrets, his snake tail would become the sharpest spearhead in the world. Other than the simplest whipping and smashing, Lin Yuan could even use his snake body to display spear techniques. Strike while the iron is hot. Lin Yuan once again put 1 attribute point into the proficiency of the golden body secrets. It was still the same warm current that flowed through his body. As a cold-blooded animal, Lin Yuan enjoyed this warm feeling very much. But when the warm current was refined into his body, the joy in Lin Yuan's eyes was swept away. System, your uncle. Angry curses followed closely behind. Because the body tempered by the golden body secrets was not like what Lin Yuan had imagined, starting from the tip of his tail and tempering it meter by meter. This time what was being tempered was 1 meter below Lin Yuan's 7 inches. It did not have any attack power, nor did it cover his 7 inches, which was his biggest weakness. The 25-meter-long snake body had 2 completely unconnected parts that were dark gold in color. Looked a little funny. Although Lin Yuan had already gotten used to his identity as a demonic beast, he had never imagined that a giant snake could look good. But at the very least it should not look funny, right? The system did not respond to Lin Yuan. It seemed to be satisfied with its own bad taste, hiding at the side and laughing secretly. Chapter 43. Time was like flowing water passing by bit by bit. In the blink of an eye, more than half a month had already passed. Lin Yuan was coiled up on a huge rock that stretched across the waterfall, lazily basking in the sun. As a cold-blooded animal, even if Lin Yuan had become a monster with extraordinary strength, he still could not overcome the drawbacks that nature brought to him. His body did not have the ability to regulate his body temperature. If he did not take advantage of the sun to come out and bask in the sun, the cold blood flowing in his body would completely freeze his snake body. Perhaps in the not-too-distant autumn and winter, Lin Yuan would have to be like a normal snake and find a safe place to hibernate. Batu and Lu Hu, who could be considered top-notch opponents to the current Lin Yuan, were still unable to take his life. Therefore he increasingly did not want to sleep and be frozen into a snake corpse. During this period of time, there were no powerful monsters that entered Lin Yuan's territory, nor were there any spirit items that suddenly grew within the range of Lin Yuan's perception. Therefore there were no missions from the system that were activated. However, during this half a month of rest, Lin Yuan did not completely stand still. This was because he could follow the circulation pattern of the golden body secrets, slowly absorbing the surrounding ling qi of heaven and earth, and then converting the ling qi of heaven and earth into attribute points. This could also be considered a kind of disguised training, even though he completely could not experience things like meridians or dantian. His attribute points were slowly increasing at a weak rate of 0.0001 per minute. Even if he absorbed the surrounding ling qi of heaven and earth without rest for an entire day, he would only be able to accumulate 0.144 attribute points. Moreover, he could not absorb ling qi of heaven and earth without rest. With his current realm, not to mention fasting, even if he did not have enough sleep, he could be toyed to death by the strange physique of snakes. Perhaps he could only be completely free after he completed his evolution. This kind of training speed could not be considered slow. This was because he was still basking in the light of the greenleaf lotus. If he had left the vicinity of the greenleaf lotus, it would have been a miracle if he could absorb 0.0001 attribute points in half an hour. Batu, on the other hand, was still quietly recuperating. He seemed to be planning to carry out Lin Yuan's orders perfectly. Before he recovered from his injuries, he did not plan to appear in front of Lin Yuan. After all, the injuries that Lin Yuan had inflicted on him were not as simple as superficial wounds. The frostbitten flesh had already necrotized and had to be cut off and regrown. Opening his bloody mouth, Lin Yuan yawned lazily and murmured, "System, find something to do." After being left alone by the system for half a month, he really missed the ridiculous missions that the system had given him. Otherwise, with his current speed of improvement, it was really too slow. It had already been half a month, and other than investing a total of 7 attribute points into the golden body technique, there was no improvement in other aspects. Ding, 1,500 meters to the northeast, a Class 7 demonic beast has been discovered. Ding, 1,300 meters to the northeast, a Class 7 demonic beast has been discovered. Ding, 1,100 meters to the northeast, a Class 9 demonic beast has been discovered. Host, please reconsider before proceeding. 3 system notifications blasted out in a row. Lin Yuan's entire snake body froze in place. For the past half a month he had to give the system these prompts every day, but the system had always ignored him. Until today it suddenly gave him a Class 9 demonic beast. Turtle turtle. Lin Yuan could not help but let out a cry of surprise. In terms of causing trouble, I, Lin Yuan, am willing to call your system the best. Don't care. Lin Yuan lazily turned over and his white belly was facing up. A Class 9 demonic beast and a Class 7 demonic beast. Although this kind of combination was not common in this area, Lin Yuan had seen plenty of similar combinations. They were nothing more than the seniors from the sects and dojos in Mountain Blocking City bringing their disciples out for training, and letting them fight with demonic beasts of the same class to sharpen their combat experience. After all, although most of the demon slayers came from sects and dojos, their nature was similar to that of mercenaries. If 2 of their companions died on the way, there would be 2 fewer people to split the reward when the mission was completed. There was no such thing as holding the formation or passing down the legacy. Something seemed to be wrong. Lin Yuan's snake body trembled. He suddenly coiled up on the stone platform and coldly looked in the northeast direction. With his lair as the center, the area within a radius of 500 li was his territory. Lin Yuan did not care about low-level demonic beasts. He would only occasionally eat a few to satisfy his appetite. Compared to other demonic beasts, Lin Yuan gave these low-level demonic beasts enough space to live. However, Class 7 demonic beasts were absolutely not allowed to appear in Lin Yuan's territory. Otherwise, Lin Yuan would regard them as demonic beasts that came to fight for territory. He would not give up until one of them was dead. Therefore, there was only one Class 7 demonic beast that dared to appear in Lin Yuan's territory, Batu. Taking a deep breath, Lin Yuan directly shot toward the northeast. A black shadow swept across the sky, sweeping up a large area of lake water under his body. It was an extremely shocking sight. Master, what kind of demonic beast is this? How can its skin be so rough and tough? I can't kill it no matter how hard I hit it. A young warrior in his 20s, wearing a golden robe, constantly waved the short-handled glaive in his hand. Rich true chi was attached to the edge of the glaive, fiercely chopping at the grimacing Batu. At the same time, on a big tree 200 meters away, a middle-aged man in a moon-white robe with his hands behind his back, who looked about 40 years old, chuckled and said in a deep voice, "Silly disciple, the one in front of you is not a simple character. It is the king of this area, the mountain-shaking ape that was exiled from the depths of the Hengduan mountain range. If it was in its heyday, even I would have to avoid it. I don't know who severely injured it. It should be us who picked up a windfall." As a primate demonic beast, Bada could actually understand human language. It was just that it had no way to communicate with humans. Even if its foundation was injured, a mere level 7 warrior could not suppress it in its heyday. If it did not have a divine weapon in its hand, even if it was a level 9 warrior, it would not take it seriously. However, at this moment, Badu had been rubbed on the ground by Lin Yuan. After recuperating for half a month, its injuries were not even half healed. It did not know what kind of bad luck it had encountered, but it was actually found out from its hiding place by a level 7 warrior. Bada stiffly waved the 6-meter stone staff in its hand, but its speed was several times slower than the glaive. It did not take long for the golden-robed young man to take advantage of it. Moreover, the golden-robed young man was extremely insidious. Almost every slash was aimed at the wounds on Bada's lower body. The level 9 warrior's eyes flickered with greed. If a wounded mountain-shaking ape fell into his hands, he would be able to double the profits of the martial arts club in Mountain Blocking City. What great luck! Seeing that Bada was unable to hold on, the greed in the level 9 warrior's eyes became even more intense. Chapter 44. It's a pity that you don't have the life to enjoy it. Suddenly, a cold voice rang in the ears of the level 9 warrior. Who's there? The level 9 warrior suddenly roared and subconsciously jumped hundreds of meters away. The big tree he was standing on collapsed with a loud bang, and more than 10 towering trees in the surrounding area didn't escape the misfortune. However, when these giant trees fell, they also raised a cloud of dust. It didn't reveal what attacked the area where he was standing just now. It was just that his combat instincts, honed over many years in the forest, reminded him that the other party seemed to be an extremely terrifying thing. Could it be that you injured this mountain-shaking ape? The level 9 warrior thought for a moment and asked in a clear voice towards the place where the dust rose. He thought for a while. With such terrifying strength, the other party must be a well-known figure nearby. There was no reason that the other party didn't recognize him and attacked without even communicating. This area was only the demon forest in the periphery. The strongest one was only a level 7 demon, but it could erupt with the strength of a level 9 demon. The wisdom state demon beasts had long gone deeper into the Xuanhuan mountain range. After all, the spiritual energy there was richer and the spiritual items produced were better. Therefore, the level 9 warrior didn't think that the existence that could communicate with him would be a demon beast. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A sharp sound of something breaking through the air sounded. Ice swords flew out from the dust cloud one after another. Good technique. It seems that you're not from Jianghu Blocking City. Lu, the level 9 warrior was shocked. He tried to get closer to him while dodging. I don't have time to remember the name of a dead person. That cold voice sounded once again. However, this time the level 9 warrior clearly felt that something was wrong. Because this cold voice wasn't heard by him at all. It was more like it appeared directly in his mind. What he heard was only a snake's hiss. Demon beast. A wisdom state demon beast. The level 9 warrior was scared out of his wits. His moon-white robe was instantly soaked in cold sweat. Whether it was the other party's method of condensing ice into swords or the ability to communicate with other creatures directly, it was exactly the same as the legendary wisdom state demon beasts. To be fair, so what if he was a level 9 martial artist? After all, the difference in physique was obvious. Without divine weapons or special secret techniques, human warriors would never be a match for demonic beasts of the same level. Even for demon slayers, most of them had to work together as a team, each performing their own duties to kill a demonic beast. Otherwise, they would still be chased by demonic beasts. With his current strength, he probably wouldn't even last 3 moves against a wisdom insight demonic beast. Senior, I didn't know that this mountain-shaking ape was your food. I apologize to you. The rank 9 martial artist cupped his fists in the direction of Lin Yuan and said in a clear voice, I am a consecrator of the Lu family of River Crossing City. If Senior is willing to let me go, I am willing to offer a considerable reward to Senior. Lin Yuan was completely unmoved. His huge snake body bounced over, and his thick snake tail smashed directly at the level 9 martial artist. So it's you. Seeing Lin Yuan reveal his true form, the level 9 martial artist's face revealed a look of horror once again. The psychic black snake's name could be said to be well known in River Crossing City, especially within the Lu family. After losing Lu Hu, an outstanding junior who was loyal to the Lu family and had entered level 8 at a young age, the Lu family's ancestor couldn't wait to eat this psychic black snake alive. But how long had it been? The level 7 black snake that Sunan spoke of had turned into a wisdom insight demonic beast? No. The level 9 martial artist was unprecedentedly calm at this moment. He narrowed his eyes and carefully sized up the black snake that was rushing over. The 25-meter-long snake's body even left a faint afterimage as it slithered. The blood chi on its body was so dense that it almost soared into the sky. It was comparable to the famous demon slayers he had seen in River Crossing City, who were famous for their physique that was not inferior to demonic beasts of the same level. It seemed to be at this level, right? This black snake was indeed very strong, but not strong enough to make him despair. It was still a level 7 demonic beast. The level 9 martial artist's eyes were filled with even more greed than before. He licked his lips and said, "Your black snake has grown so fast that it must have killed a lot of people. As martial artists, we can't just stand by and watch a demonic beast like you wreak havoc. Today I'm going to subdue you, this demonic snake." After confirming that the other party was only a level 7 demonic beast, the level 9 martial artist's confidence was unprecedentedly high. Even if demonic beasts were born much stronger than humans, the gap of 2 levels was definitely not that easy to cross. "Boss, don't worry about me. You go first." Bata shouted at Lin Yuan while dodging the level 7 martial artist's guandao. "Go your grandma's leg." Lin Yuan turned his head and glared at Batu. He almost couldn't help but spit at him. The system had deliberately called out the mission, Demonic Beast's Oath. It was undoubtedly to remind Lin Yuan that Bata's mission had not been completed. If Bata died in the hands of these 2 humans, the system would directly judge that Lin Yuan's mission had failed. He didn't want to experience the feeling of being torn apart by the mountain-shaking ape. What's more, Bata was his stepping stone to enter the depths of the Hengduan mountain range. He couldn't easily lose him here. Wasn't he just a level 9 martial artist? It wasn't like he couldn't kill him. Lin Yuan coiled his snake body and coldly sized up the level 9 martial artist who was slowly approaching him. In his heart, he was thinking about how to lead the battle so that he could unexpectedly rely on the tip of his tail strengthened by the golden body secrets to stab this shameless old man to death. The level 9 martial artist slowly approached Lin Yuan. At the same time, the white robe on his body suddenly shook and was directly torn apart by the vigorous true chi on his body, revealing a gray cloth bag tied behind his back. The level 9 martial artist shook the gray cloth bag in his hand, revealing 4 white bones that were at least 3 feet long. The 4 white bones were pieced together in order, forming a 12-feet-long bone spear in the hands of the level 9 martial artist. The tip of the spear, which was polished from the bones of an unknown creature, was pointed at Lin Yuan, but it suddenly emitted a faint deterrent force. Batu and the level 7 martial artist seemed to turn a deaf ear to it. They were not affected by the deterrent force at all. However, Lin Yuan's pair of blue and white snake eyes suddenly widened. He looked at the level 9 martial artist in disbelief. Even his huge snake body was slightly shaking. "What is this thing?" Lin Yuan shook his snake head and tried to suppress the fear in his heart. However, his mind was still unable to concentrate. Those ice swords had even begun to shake as if they would fall to the ground at any time. Chapter 45. Ha, so that kid's words were true. Are these bones really dragon bones? The level 9 martial artist waved the bone spear in his hand. Seeing the black snake trembling in fear, his confidence swelled again. The kid who sold him the 4 3-foot-long bones said that they were his family heirlooms, the dragon bones left behind by his ancestors. Any demon beast with the blood of the dragon clan in their body would fall into an uncontrollable fear after seeing the dragon bones. It was even possible that they would directly submit to the existence that held the dragon bones. The black snake's current actions should be due to the bone spear in his hand. System? What is that? Lin Yuan clenched his teeth, trying his best to keep his consciousness from becoming muddled. He expected that the humans of this world would have weapons that could easily kill monsters, but he never thought that the other party would be able to make him tremble from the bottom of his heart just by showing his weapon. The bones of the dove snake. The dove snake is an extremely rare monster. It was born with the head of a dragon, so the dove snake will think of ways to lay its snake eggs in the nest of the dragon clan. When the baby hatches, the dove snake will be raised by the dragon clan as its own offspring. However, the baby dove snake is vicious by nature. It will think of ways to kill the baby dragon in the same nest to gain more love from the mother dragon. In the following years, the dove snake will constantly demand from the mother dragon. When the mother dragon is exhausted, the dove snake will take the opportunity to devour the mother dragon's flesh and blood to become a dragon. What the host encountered was the bones of the dove snake. Although it did not successfully become a dragon, it grew up with the dragon clan since it was young and its body was contaminated with a lot of dragon aura. It also has a great suppressive effect on the host's current black snake body. According to the information extracted from the host's consciousness, it can be called bloodline suppression. The system slowly responded, but did not provide any way to dispel this fear. So King disgusting. Lin Yuan cursed from the bottom of his heart. The theory in his previous life said that everything had a spirit. Any creature that came to this world was like a piece of white paper. It was just that the people and things they gradually came in contact with were like fuel, painting the white paper with different colors. However, the dove snake that the system mentioned completely shattered his idea. Instead of repaying the kindness of being nurtured by the dragon clan, he wanted to kill the other children of the dragon clan and even tried to devour the flesh and blood of the mother dragon. All of this was just to transform himself into a dragon. Black Snake, although I don't know what mysteries you have, you are already under my control. If you are willing to give up struggling, I can give you a quick death. How about it? The rank 9 martial artist chuckled and spun the bone spear in his hand, cautiously approaching Lin Yuan. Even a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. There were too many mysterious things about this Black Snake, and the kid who sold him the dragon bone didn't seem like a good person either. Therefore, the level 9 martial artist was still very cautious at this moment, afraid that the Black Snake would suddenly jump up and destroy him. Lin Yuan shook his huge snake head and looked coldly at the approaching rank 9 martial artist. As the distance between the two got closer and closer, the bloodline suppression grew stronger and stronger. Lin Yuan's vision began to blur. When he looked at the level 9 martial artist, it was as if the other party had a clone. Whoosh! The level 9 martial artist flew up, and the dove snake bone spear in his hand suddenly pierced straight at Lin Yuan's head. Even though Lin Yuan had reacted the moment the other party jumped up, his snake body, which was usually very agile, became very heavy at this moment. Even if Lin Yuan used all his strength, he could only move his head back slightly by half an inch. The tip of the dove snake bone spear brushed past Lin Yuan's face, leaving a carrot-shaped wound. However, the flesh on Lin Yuan's face that was cut closed instinctively and didn't let a single drop of blood flow out. TSK. The level 9 martial artist smacked his lips twice, as if he was disappointed that his spear didn't succeed. His body, which had already landed on the ground, jumped up again and pierced Lin Yuan's snake head with his spear again. You are courting death. A loud roar suddenly exploded in Lin Yuan's mind. Lin Yuan, who had fallen into a muddle-headed state because of the close contact with the dove snake bone spear, was suddenly awakened by this angry roar. Feeling the strong wind behind him, Lin Yuan suddenly lowered his snake body and dodged the level 9 martial artist's spear. What's going on? The level 9 martial artist and Lin Yuan asked almost at the same time. Of course, the level 9 martial artist was talking to himself, but Lin Yuan was asking the system. After all, the moment the roar exploded in his mind, Lin Yuan suddenly realized that the so-called dove snake bone spear was no longer a threat to him. You don't even know what kind of trash you are. How dare you steal my power? Aren't you afraid of bursting yourself? The system's emotionless electronic synthesized voice sounded, but Lin Yuan could hear the endless anger in it. After thinking carefully for a moment, Lin Yuan suddenly felt like laughing, but now that the system was angry, he didn't dare to laugh out loud. What kind of monster was the dove snake? It was an existence that could absorb the essence of a dragon's flesh and blood, and then convert it into its own aura, turning a snake demon into a dragon. The spear that had scratched Lin Yuan just now had only caused a flesh wound to Lin Yuan. Under the dove snake bone spear's stealing power, the system had obviously suffered a loss, so it changed its attitude of watching the show and woke Lin Yuan up. My dragon bones. The level 9 martial artist's trembling voice suddenly attracted Lin Yuan's attention. The bone spear that was pieced together by 4 dove snake bones was now filled with pitch-black cracks, as if it would shatter into pieces with just a light touch. Lin Yuan choked for a moment. It was hard to say how much power the dove snake bone spear had stolen from the system, but Lin Yuan had seen it with his own eyes. What did the system mean by bursting yourself? You compensate me for my dragon bones? The dove snake bone spear in the hands of the level 9 martial artist turned into fine powder and scattered with the wind, his dark face filled with heartache. Okay, I'll send you down to meet that disgusting dove snake. Lin Yuan opened his bloody mouth, revealing 2 sharp white poisonous fangs. Without the bloodline suppression of the dove snake bone spear, Lin Yuan was really not afraid of dealing with an empty-handed level 9 martial artist. Ah! The level 9 martial artist roared and reached behind his waist to take out a pair of lantern-sized red rings. Other than the hands that were wrapped by an unknown thread, the rest of the rings were incomparably sharp edges. After practicing martial arts for more than 30 years, he had fought countless times. At this moment he was clear that the black snake was injured and he didn't have his dragon bones. The two of them had returned to a situation where neither of them had the upper hand, and both of them were full of hatred. They hadn't even started to fight, but they had already entered the deathmatch phase. Chapter 46. At the same time. Mountain-blocking city in a small, remote courtyard. A tall and slender young man pushed the woman in his arms away. Suddenly, he turned his head to look in the direction of the demonic beast forest on the outskirts of the Xuanhuan Mountains. He opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of black and red blood. The red blood came from the woman. There were 2 narrow bloody holes on her neck. The moment she fell to the ground, her body began to dry up, as if all the blood and water in her body had been sucked out. In the blink of an eye, she turned into a dried corpse that seemed to have been dead for countless years. The slender young man opened his mouth. A small snake with a body as black as ink poked out from his mouth. The young man's pupils instantly dimmed as if his soul had been sucked out. So the legend is true. There really is a psychic black snake in the demonic beast forest. It broke 4 of my bones in one breath. Ha 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 ha, it actually has the potential to transform into a dragon? The small black snake opened its slender mouth and spoke in human language. A pair of bean-sized eyes flashed with an extremely cold light. Lin Yuan, who was confronting the level 9 warrior in the demonic beast forest, did not know that he had been targeted by an existence full of malice. At this moment, his mind was completely focused on the level 9 warrior in front of him. This was the first time he saw a real human expert in action. A pair of sharp metal rings rotated, stirring up a cold wind from time to time. Even Lin Yuan was driven by instinct to dodge. He did not dare to touch the cold wind with his snake body because it was much more terrifying than the Horse King's wind blades. Moreover, it was everywhere. With the level 9 warrior as the center, the area within a radius of 5 meters was shrouded by the cold wind. The ice sword summoned by Lin Yuan was completely shattered as soon as it entered the range of the cold wind. When he tried to approach the opponent, he found that his snake body was constantly being cut by the cold wind, leaving deep wounds. A large amount of dark red snake blood overflowed from the wounds. Lin Yuan gritted his teeth and retreated. If his golden body secrets could temper his whole body, he would not have fallen into such a situation. It seems that you're just SOSO. The level 9 warrior laughed madly. Looking at the wounds on Lin Yuan's body that did not show any signs of healing, the level 9 warrior thought for a moment, then directly waved the metal ring in his hand and pounced on Lin Yuan, driving the surrounding cold wind like a big net. Although he had temporarily suppressed Lin Yuan, he was very clear in his heart that he had only borrowed external force. When the true chi in his body could no longer summon the cold wind through the metal ring, Lin Yuan would definitely not let him off easily. Looking at the approaching 9th rank warrior, Lin Yuan opened his mouth and spat out the lake water stored in his abdomen. It formed a high-pressure water column that fiercely crashed into the 9th rank warrior. However, even though it was an invisible water column, it was easily shattered by the cold wind. When it landed on the 9th rank warrior, all it did was wet his upper body. It's useless. You can't hurt me. The 9th rank warrior waved the metal ring in his right hand and rolled up a cold wind that directly crashed into Lin Yuan. However, this cold wind did not succeed in attacking Lin Yuan. After exceeding the range of 5 meters around the 9th rank warrior, it directly dissipated between heaven and earth. I see. Let's see how long you can last. Lin Yuan sneered and immediately twisted his snake body, once again distancing himself from the 9th rank warrior. He could now see that this strange cold wind was the means of the metal ring. Although it was an almost invincible ability, the range was firmly limited to 5 meters. As long as he did not enter this range, the cold wind could not do anything to him. Moreover, Lin Yuan could clearly feel that the 9th rank warrior's use of this pair of metal rings was extremely taxing. His movement speed was simply incomparable to when he was using the dove snake bone spear. At this moment in Lin Yuan's eyes, the 9th rank warrior was really not much faster than a turtle. With such a huge weakness in front of him, if Lin Yuan did not know how to use it, then what was the difference between him and an ordinary monster? The 9th rank warrior looked at the retreating Lin Yuan and suddenly widened his eyes. Even if Lin Yuan's intelligence was extraordinary, he should not be so smart to this extent, right? Even the demonic beasts in the wisdom realm were at a disadvantage after countless clashes with humans. They had to learn from their mistakes bit by bit to train their intelligence to be on par with humans. When they first entered the wisdom realm, those demonic beasts only knew how to shout and kill. You can't touch me if you touch me, and I won't let you leave if you leave. Why don't you kill yourself? I can still leave you with a complete corpse. Lin Yuan's cold voice rang in the 9th rank warrior's mind again. You monster snake, you are simply wishful thinking. The 9th rank warrior was speechless. He kept waving the metal rings in his hand, trying to catch up to the retreating Lin Yuan. It would take at least 3 days to travel from Lin Yuan's lair to the nearest human gathering place. He could not keep running for 3 days in this state. Even if Lin Yuan did not make a move, he would be exhausted to death. At this point, one of them had to die here today to solve the problem. The 9th rank warrior snorted coldly. He gritted his teeth and said, Black Snake, you are indeed capable. Perhaps I can't do anything to you even if I risk my life. But I will definitely not let you have it easy. Don't you want to save this mountain-shaking ape? I will kill this guy in front of you. Let's see if you will make a move or not. As his voice fell, he strode directly toward the mountain-shaking ape. Lin Yuan stopped retreating and turned his head to look at Batu, who was still fighting with the 7th rank warrior. If Batu was still in his heyday, even if he was only in the realm of a level 7 monster beast, he would not be able to catch up with the speed of a level 9 warrior. But now Batu was seriously injured and entangled with a level 7 warrior. It was absolutely impossible to get away in a short time. What was worse was that once Batu died here, the mission would be automatically judged as a failure. Lin Yuan would also be buried with Batu. If he had known that this would happen, he would have killed Batu earlier. He would never have created the mission, Demon's Oath. Now he was trapped in a cocoon of his own making. Lin Yuan gritted his teeth and twisted his snake body to meet the 9th rank warrior again. At the same time, he kept controlling the ice weapons to fly over to slow down the opponent. Ding. A Class 9 demonic beast has been discovered 1,100 meters to the southwest. The host should escape as soon as possible. Ding. 1,100 meters to the southwest, an intelligent demonic beast has been discovered. The host should escape as soon as possible. The system prompt sounded in Lin Yuan's ears. Lin Yuan suddenly stopped with a touch of joy in his eyes. It was hard to say how far this monster forest was from Mountain Blocking City, but it was definitely the outermost area of the Xuanhuan Mountains. Not only were low-level monsters rampant here, but there were also many wild beasts without cultivation. Chapter 47. The Xuanhuan mountain range was divided into areas according to strength. It was because beasts had to kill each other if they wanted to grow. Then they had to devour each other's flesh, and the phase guarded by each other. Only beasts that could survive under such a cruel law could gradually become stronger. Powerful beasts liked to walk into the depths of the Xuanhuan mountain range because the low-level beasts and the phase produced in the periphery couldn't satisfy their needs at all. No matter how much they ate, it wasn't beneficial to them. Just like Lin Yuan at this moment, this area no longer had any attraction to him. Only a few wandering level 7 beasts would be targeted by him. The phase produced were even abandoned by the system. Even if they were right in front of him, it was too lazy to prompt because even if Lin Yuan ate them, those low-level phase wouldn't provide any attribute points. Even Lin Yuan, who was at the peak of level 7, was like this. A level 9 demonic beast and an intelligent demonic beast were even more unlikely to appear in such an area. Therefore, the appearance of these two demonic beasts was definitely for another purpose. After thinking about it, Lin Yuan could only think of Batu, the mountain-shaking ape. Compared to himself, who had the system as his backer, Batu had a tribe that was enough to dominate the Xuanhuan mountain range. The growth limit of this kind of high-level beasts was extremely high. At the same time, the fertility rate was also pitifully low. Even if Batu had lost the potential to break through to the intelligent state or even higher, the mountain-shaking ape tribe only sent it to the periphery where it was more suitable for its survival. They definitely didn't intend to let it fend for itself. Otherwise, the friendship of the mountain-shaking ape tribe reward wouldn't appear in the mission reward. You will soon find out how stupid it is to threaten me with Batu. Lin Yuan flicked his tongue. Just now, the system still reminded that the two beasts were 1,100 meters away. At this moment, they had already appeared in the range of Lin Yuan's sense of smell. Their speed was so fast that it could almost be described as ghostly. Even with Lin Yuan's sense of smell, he could only capture two afterimages. Boom, boom. Two muffled sounds exploded like thunder. Two mountain-shaking apes appeared behind Lin Yuan. One was a level 9 demonic beast with a height of nearly 200 feet, which was around 60 meters tall. The other mountain-shaking ape was in the wisdom realm. The system didn't give an introduction, and its height couldn't be compared to the other one. It was only around 2 meters tall, which was smaller than a normal ape. However, Lin Yuan felt an unparalleled power from this mountain-shaking ape. It was as if the other party only needed one punch to directly turn him into minced meat. The mountain-shaking ape of wisdom didn't walk on its own. Instead, it sat on the shoulder of the rank 9 mountain-shaking ape. From time to time, it sized up Lin Yuan and Batu, who was evenly matched with a rank 7 martial artist. Its eyes even revealed a hint of impatience. "Humans, since when did you dare to openly hunt down members of my mountain-shaking ape clan?" The mountain-shaking ape of wisdom slowly opened its mouth and asked in an indifferent tone, "Could it be that you humans want to break the treaty and start a war with my mountain-shaking ape clan?" A fine layer of cold sweat appeared on the forehead of the rank 9 martial artist. A rank 9 mountain-shaking ape was already in existence that could be smashed with one punch. Not to mention, this rank 9 mountain-shaking ape of wisdom was also carrying a mountain-shaking ape of wisdom that looked even smaller than a normal ape. However, its body had already condensed a demonic aura. My lord, I just want to deal with this demonic snake." The rank 9 martial artist didn't dare to be rash. He knelt on one knee and said in a clear voice, "This black snake killed the experts of my Lu clan. It took the initiative to start a feud with us. My lord, please understand. What happened in this demonic beast forest can't escape my eyes and ears. You don't have to use the Lu clan to pressure me. Back then, if not, forget it. In short, if my clan's Bata dies, the entire mountain-blocking city will have to be buried with him. Not to mention the insignificant Lu clan that you speak of. Do you really think you're something?" The mountain-shaking ape of wisdom spoke once again. An incomparably domineering aura instantly filled the air. Under the suppression of this domineering aura, even Lin Yuan revealed a hint of fear in his eyes. It wasn't the feeling of being suppressed in his bloodline like before. Instead, it was the feeling of a herbivore encountering a carnivore. It was a shiver that came from the depths of his soul. He even had a feeling of escaping from this place at all costs. After calming himself down, Lin Yuan put away the snake's forked tongue and stopped spying on the other party. He communicated with his mind, "Senior, this person has entered my territory. Killing him is my duty. There's no need for Senior to do it. Senior just needs to bring Bata to a safe place." A rank 9 martial artist and a rank 7 martial artist. In Lin Yuan's eyes, they were at least 3 attribute points. If he could kill these two fellows, he would be able to refine his 3-meter-long snake body. Even if he encountered something like the ring next time, with the protection of the Golden Body Sutra, Lin Yuan would never be forced to retreat again. The mountain-shaking ape, who was at the wisdom state, exclaimed softly and looked at Lin Yuan with great interest. Batu had been defeated by the Black Snake and had even become a subordinate of the Black Snake. When this news spread to the mountain-shaking ape's tribe, it instantly became a disgrace to their tribe. Therefore, the matter of encountering a human attacking Batu today was actually just a coincidence. The ape's true purpose in coming to the demonic beast forest was actually to deal with this Black Snake. However, at this moment, it had changed its mind. A rank 7 martial artist was actually able to resist its aura and even communicate with it in an orderly manner. Even some of the demonic beasts that had just entered the wisdom realm might not necessarily be able to do so. Moreover, since when were spirit awakening demonic beasts able to communicate with other demonic beasts using their minds? It pondered for a moment and suddenly nodded with a smile. "Although I don't know where you came from, since you have such strength in the spirit awakening realm, perhaps in the future, you will be able to stand on the same level as me. You owe me for today's matter." As its voice fell, the rank 9 mountain-shaking ape suddenly stretched out its large hand and grabbed Batu, who was similarly suppressed by its aura, as easily as grabbing a doll. Then it directly walked into the distance. Seeing this scene in front of him, a layer of cold sweat suddenly seeped out of the rank 9 martial artist's back. Lin Yuan and the mountain-shaking ape of wisdom were communicating with their minds, so naturally he couldn't hear it. After the mountain-shaking ape of wisdom left, he let out a long breath of turbid air, feeling that he had picked up his life. "Did you think that you had picked up your life?" Suddenly, a cold voice resounded in his mind once again. Only then did the rank 9 martial artist wake up as if from a dream. He instantly picked up his metal ring and summoned the cold wind to protect his surroundings. It was true that the mountain-shaking ape of wisdom had left, but there was still a black snake eyeing him covetously. Chapter 48. You're just struggling at death's door. Lin Yuan coiled up his snake body. A mocking look appeared in his blue-white eyes. In the next moment, Lin Yuan's snake body shot out. Under the horrified gaze of the level 9 martial artist, Lin Yuan's snake tail swept the level 7 martial artist into the forest. Strangle. Almost at the same time as he controlled the level 7 martial artist, Lin Yuan activated his skill without hesitation. Crack. With a crisp sound, the level 7 martial artist's face was filled with fear and unwillingness. Under Lin Yuan's immense strength, he was ground into a pile of minced meat. Ding. Congratulations to host for killing a level 7 wild monster. You have gained 1 attribute point. The system notification sounded again. Lin Yuan did not let go of the dead level 7 martial artist. Instead, he dragged the corpse and continued to wander in the forest. His snake tongue flicked out, monitoring the level 9 martial artist who was moving at the speed of a tortoise. Gulp. The level 9 martial artist swallowed a mouthful of saliva. His legs were trembling. The level 7 martial artist who was dragged away by Lin Yuan was the disciple he was most proud of. He was also a genius among the younger generation of the Lu clan in Mountain Blocking City, second only to Lu Hu. In the future he would be the pillar of the Lu clan. It was said that the old ancestor of the Lu clan even wanted to marry a direct descendant of the Lu clan to him. Such an existence with a limitless future had died in front of him just like that. As his master, his first reaction was not heartache, but uncontrollable fear. If he did not have a rare treasure to protect him, he might not have ended up any better than his disciple. Stop dreaming, demonic snake. You can't kill me. The level 9 martial artist forced himself to be calm and shouted loudly. With his reserves of true chi, it was impossible for him to walk back to River Blocking City from the demonic beast forest while in the state of activating his rare treasure. He might not even be able to walk out of the demonic snake's territory. Now, his only way out was to get as close to Mountain Blocking City as possible. If he could meet a team of powerful demon slayers on the way, he might have a chance to survive. After carefully walking for more than 500 meters, the black snake that had disappeared into the forest still did not move. The rank 9 warrior even began to suspect that the black snake felt that it could not take him down, so it had left the place. With the mentality of giving it a try, the level 9 martial artist stopped instilling chi into the metal ring in his hand, and the biting cold wind dissipated in an instant. Whoosh. At this moment, a sharp piercing sound suddenly rang out. The rank 9 warrior almost subconsciously waved the ring in his hand and slapped the thing that was attacking him. When the ring wind blade came into contact with that thing, he realized that it was actually the head of his disciple that was attacking him. That fearful and unwilling eyes were staring straight at him, as if questioning him why he didn't think of a way to save him. However, this heart-palpitating gaze only lasted for a moment before the disciple's head was torn apart by the ring. The blood-stained ring appeared even more demonic, but this was clearly not the end. The moment the disciple's head was smashed apart, a colorless and odorless mist instantly spread out. F***CK. The level 9 martial artist narrowed his eyes and jumped back almost subconsciously. He had been practicing martial arts for more than 30 years and had killed countless monsters and humans. He was very familiar with the structure of the human body, so he was very clear that the colorless and odorless mist was definitely not something that came from a human's brain. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought that a 25-meter-long python was actually king venomous snake. This was simply unreasonable, okay? Just based on the size and speed of this black snake, not to mention monsters of the same rank, it could even kill rank 8 monsters. There was no need for it to evolve a poison sac and poisonous fangs to assist in hunting. Demonic beasts were very strange creatures. They were different from humans who condensed their true chi and then let their true chi transform. Their strength was often reflected in their own evolution. For example, the strength of their bodies or some special abilities. No demonic beast would evolve an organ that they didn't need. This black snake was definitely a special case. The rank 9 warrior's thoughts came to an abrupt end here. This was because in the next moment, a burning sensation suddenly rose in his mind. In the blink of an eye, this feeling turned into a raging fire burning his body and skin. Under this kind of pain, the level 9 martialist subconsciously started to mobilize the true chi in his body to suppress the spread of the poison. Chi. The wisdom illumination mountain shaking ape, who was watching the battle in the distance, could not help but let out a sneer. The frigid winds of a 9th rank cultivator were nothing to it. All it had to do was use its demonic power to sweep them aside, and it would be able to easily behead them. No matter how extraordinary a spirit awakening stage black snake was, there was no way it could cultivate the demonic power of a wisdom stage demonic beast. When the black snake said that it wanted to deal with the rank 9 warrior, it thought that the black snake had some tricks up its sleeve. Despicable, despicable. The rank 9 mountain shaking ape gave a low, muffled evaluation. In the eyes of the monster race, who liked to use strength to determine who was superior, the black snake's methods could be considered despicable. Therefore, it had completely lost its good impression of the despicable black snake. "Nachin, this is not despicable, this is smart." The Wisdom Illumination Mountain Shaking Ape corrected the rank 9 Mountain Shaking Ape and said with a smile, "When you were rank 7 you could not do anything to that human. This black snake can think of such a method. Not only can it cause effective damage and quickly exhaust the opponent's chi, but it can also make the opponent die in despair. It seems that this new overlord has some dirty dealings with the Liu family or the human race. Otherwise it would not torture its opponent like this." The scent of a demon slayer. Nachin did not respond to the Wisdom Illumination Mountain Shaking Ape's words. Instead he pointed in the direction of the black snake. "Umph." The Wisdom Illumination Mountain Shaking Ape snorted and said with a dark expression, "It seems that these humans have already forgotten how it felt to be trampled under our feet. There is actually a demon slayer who dares to violate the contract and enter so deep into the Xuanhuan Mountains. Let's go take a look and see who is so reckless." Although the incident of the Liu family hiring demon slayers to steal the Mountain Shaking Ape's cubs had been covered up with the deaths of those demon slayers, the furious Mountain Shaking Ape tribe had almost massacred the Mountain Shaking Ape tribe. They had forced the city lord of Mountain Shaking Ape to sign a contract that only allowed the demon slayers to move around the edges of the Xuanhuan Mountains and not approach the territory of the Mountain Shaking Apes. Who would have thought that in just a few years, a demon slayer would once again step into the forbidden area? Nachin let out a roar and casually put Badu aside. Carrying the Wisdom Illumination Mountain Shaking Ape, he ran in the direction of the demon slayer's aura. Chapter 49. Ding. A level 8 wild beast has been detected 1,000 meters to the west. Please leave as soon as possible. Ding. A level 9 wild beast has been detected 1,000 meters to the west. Please leave as soon as possible. Ding. An airborne realm wild beast has been detected 1,000 meters to the west. Please leave as soon as possible. Lin Yuan, who was lurking in the woods and slowly moving behind the level 9 warrior, was suddenly baffled by the series of system notifications. He didn't really understand what an airborne realm human meant, but after seeing the system add 3 exclamation marks to the words, "Leave as soon as possible," Lin Yuan felt a chill run through his entire body. The other party was probably a human who was no weaker than an intelligent Mountain Shaking Ape. Was this level 9 warrior really not destined to die? There was only one possibility for such a terrifying human to appear in such a place: the Demon Slayer Master. Lin Yuan's blue-white snake eyes looked up slightly. While his sense of smell was unable to tell what was going on over there, his sharp vision still allowed him to see a group of humans dressed in uniform approaching him. There were even hidden sentries among them. That was because the system notifications rang 12 times in a row, yet Lin Yuan only saw 8 people. Despite being 1,000 meters away, Lin Yuan was still able to smell a nauseating stench in the air. That was the smell of dried demonic beast blood. Ordinary humans, even martial artists, would not wear clothes stained with the blood of demonic beasts when entering the Xuanhuan mountain range. Although it could deter some low-level demonic beasts, it would also attract the hatred of high-level demonic beasts. Moreover, the aura of demonic blood could spread for a distance of 1,000 meters. The clothes on this group of people were as if they had been washed with demonic blood. Aside from the fact that there were 2 airborne realm warriors in the group, the reason why the other party was so arrogant was probably because they did not care about the monsters in the area at all. Only professional demon slayers would have been able to do something like that. The sense of danger was like a mountain weighing down on Lin Yuan right away. Lin Yuan lowered his body almost instantly. "Oh, help me." The level 9 warrior who saw the Demon Slayer Master's group acted as if he had just found his savior. He quickly rushed to the group. Target confirmed. Carry out elimination. A man at the very front of the group of Demon Slayers said expressionlessly as he sized up the 9th grade warrior. At the same time, a valiant-looking woman with a red ponytail raised her right hand and revealed the hand crossbow hidden under her sleeve. Then she pulled the trigger without hesitation. Whoosh, woof. The sound of arrows piercing through the air and the sound of sharp weapons piercing through bodies rang out almost at the same time. Before the ecstasy on the level 9 warrior's face dissipated, his chest was penetrated by a silver-white crossbow arrow. With a look of disbelief and resentment, he fell to the ground with a loud bang. Witnessing this scene, Lin Yuan was as silent as a cicada in winter, not daring to move at all. This warrior of the 9th rank had thought that he had met his savior. He hadn't expected that the ones who would take his life would be these demon slayers. Removal complete. The woman put down her crossbow and reloaded it with another arrow. Then she responded emotionlessly. Her posture was extremely calm, as if the one she had just shot wasn't a living human, but a wooden target for practice. Spread out and search for the black snake. The demon slayer at the very front of the group raised his right hand and opened his clenched fist. The demon slayers behind him immediately assumed a jumping posture. Boom. A loud noise was heard. The group of monster slayers stopped right away and covered their weapons with their palms. Their vigilant gazes fell on the level 9 ape of the mountain as it leaped towards them. Of course, the airborne realm human at the front of the group cast his gaze on the ape of the mountain on Nachin's shoulder, which was at wisdom realm. Mendu. The demon slayer at the very front called out the name of the wisdom realm ape of the mountains. A look of fear flashed in his eyes. Before reaching the heaven strength realm, the physique of humans was far inferior to that of monsters. As such, very few humans were able to defeat monsters of the same level as themselves without using any divine weapons. In order to take care of the exiled Batu, both Nachin and Mindu had been active in the border area between the monster forest and the Xuanhuan mountains for the past few years. They were all monsters registered in the Demon Slayers organization. Of course, this registration wasn't to encourage the Demon Slayers to go hunting. It was to inform the new Demon Slayers of which monsters were near the monster forest that they couldn't afford to provoke. You recognize me? Looks like you're not a Demon Slayer from outside. Mindu was slightly stunned when he heard the other party call out his name. Then he smiled in relief, but his tone became even colder. So, you humans are indeed planning to break the treaty and hunt in the Xuanhuan mountains again? The area Lin Yuan was in was called the Monster Forest. It was said to be the periphery of the Xuanhuan mountains, but it wasn't. The area where Batu's clan lived was the real periphery of the Xuanhuan mountains. The Monster Forest was just a forest that grew around the Xuanhuan mountains. Some low-level monsters that had no hope of reaching the Wisdom Realm were driven to live in the Monster Forest. It was the first line of defense around the Xuanhuan mountains, and also the main target of the Demon Slayers. As such, Lin Yuan and Batu, who were level 7 monsters, had the right to be kings of the Monster Forest. In the eyes of the monsters in the Xuanhuan mountains, the monsters that lived there were just a bunch of cannon fodder and trash. Only Lin Yuan, who had obtained the system and had unlimited potential, and Batu, who had a powerful clan behind him, were exceptions. Yes, Master Mendu. My code name is Iron Hand, and I'm one of the top demon slayers in Mountain Blocking City. I didn't come here to fight against the mountain-shaking apes. I was only asked to come here to capture a black snake. We definitely won't enter the Xuanhuan mountains, so please do us a favor, Master Mendu. The leader of the demon slayers bowed to Mendu and said in a sincere tone. There were 2 airborne realm experts in the team, but they didn't have much of a chance of winning against Mendu, who was at the Wisdom Realm. Furthermore, even if they could defeat Mendu, so what? Back then, the group of mountain-shaking apes was infuriated and had massacred the entire mountain-blocking city. If they infuriated the mountain-shaking apes and caused the same tragedy to happen again, they would instantly become sinners from the lofty demon slayers. Humans have been fighting with us monsters for so many years. Do you think I'd still believe what you humans say? Furthermore, this is the territory of the mountain-shaking apes, Batu. There's no black snake here. Get lost. Mendu mercilessly asked them to leave. Chapter 50. Taisho and Mendo looked at each other for a long time. Seeing that Mendo had no intention of backing down, Taisho sighed helplessly. Then he turned around and walked in the direction of Mountain Blocking City. They had accepted the Lu clan's employment for nothing more than money. There was no need to offend the mountain-shaking ape clan. In any case, the Lu clan wouldn't dare to force them to do anything. At most, they would just return the deposit. However, Taisho didn't know that the black snake he was looking for already bore a grudge against him. Lin Yuan might not be able to successfully hunt a 9th-grade demonic beast. However, since they were both 9th-grade demonic beasts, it could be said that this human cultivator was already in his bag. After a while, he would be able to provide Lin Yuan with a considerable amount of attribute points. However, that arrow from the Demon Slayer Master had shattered Lin Yuan's dreams. Cutting off one's path to wealth was akin to killing one's parents. Therefore, Lin Yuan would remember this grudge. Lin Yuan wriggled his snake body and moved in the direction of the waterfall. There were no more targets to hunt here. Mendo and that 9th-grade mountain-shaking ape were much stronger than him. Moreover, they didn't show any malice. Instead, they helped him chase away that team of demon slayers. Even if he was a poisonous snake, There was no reason for him to repay kindness with enmity. Na Qin, let's go. Mendo looked at Lin Yuan from afar and smiled meaningfully. He suddenly had a strong premonition that this black snake would soon appear on the stage of the Hengduan mountain range's myriad beast competition. Perhaps, in the future, this black snake would become an existence that even he had to look up to. Hearing the thunderous footsteps of the 9th-grade mountain-shaking ape behind him, Lin Yuan couldn't help but turn around to take a look. Was this the face of a high-grade demonic beast? From the moment he saved that girl, the Liu clan seemed to have been drooling over him. When the Liu clan thought that he was just a small snake with intelligence, they sent the 8th-grade Liu Hu to capture him. After Liu Hu failed, they even invited a team of professional demon slayers. It was obvious that they had spent a lot of money. Lin Yuan didn't know what he had that attracted the attention of the old ancestor of the Liu clan. However, today's incident had made him walk right in front of the gates of hell. If it weren't for the mountain-shaking ape scaring off the demon slayers, Lin Yuan wouldn't have been able to escape death even if he was hiding underwater. If he also had such strength, how would the Liu family dare to have any ideas about it? Liu clan. A hint of fear flashed through Lin Yuan's eyes. The black figure was like a waterfall, disappearing into the majestic waterfall. 3 days later. Mountain-blocking city Liu family. A man with waist-length hair that was half white and half black, a youthful face, and a pair of eyes that exuded a lonely aura stood up. He looked in the direction of the Hengduan mountain range with a gloomy expression. Patriarch Liu, this is what happened. We had just entered the depths of the demonic beast forest, and before we had the time to search for the black snake, the apes Nejin and Mendu appeared. You know the strength of those two. Let alone our Iron Will Corps, even the top teams do not dare to rashly offend the ape. Therefore we are indeed powerless in this matter. Patriarch Liu, please look for someone else. Please find another Patriarch Liu, Iron Hand said in a low voice as he cupped his hands towards the strange man. Mountain-shaking ape? The mountain-shaking ape is nothing. How dare a mere beast ruin my plans? Now that I'm about to master my divine technique, I'm only a step away from entering the Heaven Star realm. At that time, the mountain-shaking apes clan will be nothing more than a bunch of trash in my eyes. Captain Iron Hand, I'll leave this matter to you. If you can bring back the black snake, I'll double the promised reward. Even if the mountain-shaking ape comes for revenge, I'll protect you. Patriarch Liu crossed his arms in front of his chest and said in a gloomy tone. Forgive me for not being able to comply. Iron Hand cupped his hands towards Patriarch Liu and said in a low voice, this matter is beyond the scope of my ability. I've returned the deposit that Patriarch Liu gave me earlier. Goodbye. As soon as he finished speaking, Iron Hand stood up and planned to leave this place. Although Patriarch Liu's tone was very calm, Iron Hand always felt that Patriarch Liu was pointing at his nose and calling him a good-for-nothing. Moreover, Iron Hand always felt that there was a strange and cold aura on Patriarch Liu's body, which made him feel very uncomfortable sitting here. He wanted to leave this place more and more, as if Patriarch Liu wasn't a person sitting in front of him, but some kind of scourge. Quang, quang, quang. A series of loud sounds were heard. The door of this reception room was pulled shut by an invisible force in an instant. Even the sunlight was blocked outside. Was he going to shed all pretense of cordiality after failing to reach an agreement? Iron Arms stiffly turned around and saw that Liu family head had already stood up from his seat. In the dark room, he was incomparably conspicuous, because his body was emitting a layer of incomparably gloomy green light, illuminating his face with a green face and fangs. You're definitely not human. Iron Hand's voice was trembling. No matter how tyrannical a monster was, he didn't put it in his eyes. However, Patriarch Liu's existence was beyond his understanding. Soon after, a shrill scream was heard from the living room. The strange thing was that the servants and retainers outside were all expressionless, as if they hadn't heard the screams at all. If one looked closely, they would discover that these people had numb expressions, and there wasn't a trace of spirit in their eyes, as if they were puppets. After a while, the wooden door of the reception room was opened again. His face was deathly pale and his body was covered in blood. His body swayed as he walked out of the reception hall. The light in his eyes had already disappeared, and he had become a puppet just like the servants outside. He was still muttering something under his breath. Patriarch Liu, wearing a black robe, also walked out of the reception room. He took a white towel from a servant girl and wiped the blood on his mouth. His eyes were still gloomy, but there was an uncontrollable joy in them. An ordinary black snake had become a level 7 monster beast in such a short period of time. Even Lu Hu, a level 8 warrior, had died in its hands. Moreover, it was now under the protection of the mountain-shaking apes. All of this already showed that the black snake was extraordinary. It was very likely that it was as he had guessed at the beginning. It definitely had the blood of the dragon clan in its body. In the future, it would be able to transform into a real dragon. If he drank the blood of this black snake, it would be of great benefit to his cultivation method. It could even help him cross the big hurdle that had troubled him for decades. Ancestor, this is... The girl who had been saved by Lin Yuan before came over and brushed past Iron Hand, who was covered in blood, with a touch of surprise in her eyes. Chapter 51. This is the leader of the Iron Hand demon subduing group, Iron Hand. He's also an expert that I've spent a lot of money to invite. He's about to enter the demonic beast forest to capture the black snake you mentioned before. Patriarch Lu placed his hands behind his back and said with a smile, "Oh, that's right. Leader Iron Hand just returned from the demonic beast forest and directly came to our Lu clan's residence. That's why he's in such a sorry state." The woman nodded in confusion. Suddenly, her eyes lit up and she hurriedly asked, "Old ancestor, since you've invited the demon-subduing master, could it be that there's already news about the black snake?" "There's news, but don't even think about taming it as your spiritual pet," Patriarch Lu said with a cold expression. "The first time I sent Lu Hu and Sunan to capture it, everyone except Sunan died at the hands of the black snake. Your uncle Wang Zhang and your cousin's betrothed Xianxia also encountered the black snake in the demonic beast forest. In the end, they all died tragically at the hands of the black snake. With such a ferocious and untamable demonic beast by your side, it'll be a disaster sooner or later. This time I've invited Leader Iron Hand to eliminate this demonic snake." "How could this be? It clearly saved me last time. Old ancestor, did you make a mistake? The last time I saw it, it was just an ordinary little black snake. It's impossible for it to suddenly become so strong." The woman shook her head with an expression of disbelief. "Silly girl." Patriarch Lu patted the woman's head in a doting manner and said in a deep voice, "Last time, it might have been your misconception. Or maybe the black snake was already full so it let you go. I suspect that the black snake's origin is extraordinary. It must have cultivated a cultivation technique that harms people's lives to increase its cultivation. Otherwise, how could it have grown so quickly?" The dark clouds piled up together and covered the entire night sky. Not to mention the stars, even the crescent moon in the sky was only a hazy shadow. "This is a pretty good day." Lin Yuan, who had poked his head out of the nest, sighed with emotion. Then he plunged into the waterfall. The 25-meter-long snake's body seemed to blend with the water as it slowly flowed into the lake below. "Boss, you're looking for me?" Batu, who was still injured, carried a strong wild boar with his uninjured left hand as he sat cross-legged beside the calm lake. He was minding his own business as he tore off pieces of meat from the wild boar and stuffed them into his mouth. He chewed with big mouthfuls, completely ignoring the pieces of meat that spilled out from between his teeth and the blood that flowed down from his mouth. Almost none of the demonic beasts were vegetarians. Even a gentle water buffalo would abandon its habit of eating grass and become a carnivore after becoming a demonic beast. The main reason was that apart from some special spiritual items, most of the plants could not satisfy the demonic beast's needs. If they did not want to starve to death, they could only change their habits. Although he was clear about this point, Lin Yuan still couldn't look straight at Batu's ferocious table manners. "Yes, I'm going into the depths of the Xuanhuan mountains. Are you coming with me?" Lin Yuan's thick snake body broke through the water surface. His blue-white vertical pupils stared straight at Batu. When he heard the depths of the Xuanhuan mountains, Batu's eyes flashed a clear light, but this light quickly dimmed again. He replied in a muffled voice, "I won't go back. With my strength, even if I go back, I will only bring shame to the mountain-shaking ape clan." Lin Yuan was silent for a moment. The lake water beside him turned into an ice platform, dragging dozens of herbs up. Batu glanced at the herbs on the ice platform beside Lin Yuan, grinned and said with a smile, "Boss, forget it. Although I don't know where you got so many spiritual items, they are of no benefit to my injuries. You should keep them for yourself. After all, injuries are common in that place. You have some spiritual items with you. Maybe they can save your life at a critical moment. You must accept these spiritual items. Although they can't cure your internal injuries, they are good for your external injuries. During the time I'm not here, I'll have to trouble you to look after my lair. You must not let any creatures enter my lair. Maybe the next time I come back I will be able to find a spiritual item that can cure your internal injuries. Lin Yuan controlled the ice platform to land on the shore and gave an order without any doubt. Bada's 2 years of loyalty was given by the system, so Lin Yuan could trust Bada unconditionally. Moreover, in the past 4 days, almost all the beasts above level 6 in the vicinity were found by Lin Yuan through the system and became attribute points on his skills. Those beasts that were lucky enough to survive, although they didn't understand why Lin Yuan took the initiative to attack them like crazy, this didn't affect their instinct to seek benefits and avoid harm. They all moved away from this area. With Lin Yuan's lair as the center, there were no more traces of beasts above level 6 within 3,000 miles. If he wanted to improve further, he could only take the risk to enter the depths of the xuanhuan mountains where wisdom state beasts roamed, level 9 beasts ran rampant, and level 8 beasts trembled. Don't die. Bada lifted its eyelids and seriously looked at Lin Yuan as it warned. Although it didn't think that Lin Yuan had the ability to cure its internal injuries, in the past half a month, Lin Yuan was the only beast that could communicate with it. Putting everything else aside, Lin Yuan could be considered half a friend. Moreover, he had never asked it to do anything. He didn't seem like a beast king at all. If I don't want to die, nothing can kill me, Lin Yuan seriously replied. Then he changed the topic and slowly said, later build a nest for yourself by the lake. The spirit chi of heaven and earth here is much denser than other places. Also, if you want to eat, just eat. Don't make my place bloody. When I come back I still have to live here. Bada foolishly scratched its head and smiled embarrassedly. It also knew that its table manners weren't very good. After eating for a while, it left a large pool of minced meat and blood on the shore. The pungent smell of blood constantly filled the air. However, this was also one of the methods that demonic beasts used to leave their scent in their territory. After all, such a strong smell of blood was much more useful than simply leaving their own scent. It was extremely effective in intimidating other demonic beasts. Even demon slayer masters didn't dare to step into an area with such a strong smell of blood, for fear of provoking a powerful demonic beast. Only an anomaly like Lin Yuan would do such a good job of cleaning his lair. Not to mention the smell of blood, there wasn't even any strange smell. Moreover, the spirit chi of heaven and earth was so dense that those who didn't know would think that this was a paradise. Chapter 52. Host, Lin Yuan State, Big Black Snake, Evolvable, Realm, 7 out of 10 Talent, 1. Identify the enemy's position by smell, cannot be advanced, 2. Form an accurate image of a 500-meter range around the body by smell, 0/100, 3. Water/ice control, 0 out of 100, speed, 11 plus 2 defense, 10 plus 2 attack, 11 plus 2 assignable points, 2 martial arts, golden body secrets 12/25, skills, 1. Strangle, 8 out of 100, 2. Venom enhancement, 0 out of 100, 3. Tail strike, 12 out of 100, item. Light feather random system template X1. Glancing at the attribute panel, Lin Yuan left the lake and slowly swam towards the depths of the xuanhuan mountains. Although after leaving this area he will lose a total of 6 points of all attributes, but today his strength is not the same as before. With a 12-meter golden body here, even if it was Bada's stone rod, Lin Yuan will not be the slightest bit shaken. The 2 attribute points are not used so that he can break through the realm of level 8 monsters at any time and anywhere. Coupled with the system's upgrade, all his injuries will be healed. Even if he encounters a very difficult opponent, Lin Yuan can guarantee that he can escape unscathed. Although the monster forest belongs to the xuanhuan mountains, the atmosphere between the two is completely different. Lin Yuan, who was slowly swimming, did not feel any change in the scenery around him, but the surrounding atmosphere is still inexplicably oppressive and dignified, as if there are countless pairs of eyes hiding in the shadows watching him. Hiss. Gently spitting out the snake's tongue, Lin Yuan's surroundings within 500 meters were all formed in Lin Yuan's mind. A bird about 2 meters long, covered in bright red, is on the tree above Lin Yuan's head, quietly watching Lin Yuan. 30 meters forward, there is a python whose skin color is almost the same as the trunk of the tree, with only 2 black eyes blinking slightly in the air. Its body is almost motionless. 160 meters to the left, there is a strong and colorful tiger with 3 tails. Ding. 15 meters above, there is a level 8 monster. Ding. 30 meters to the north, a level 8 demon beast has appeared. Ding. 160 meters to the west, a level 9 demonic beast has appeared. Please leave as soon as possible. Although he didn't know the names of these demonic beasts, Lin Yuan's eyes flashed with a meaningful look when he heard the 3 system notifications. Lin Yuan didn't know if he was lucky or unlucky. Just as he entered the Xuanhuan Mountains, he was targeted by a level 9 monster beast and 2 level 8 monster beasts. According to the system's prompt, it seemed that there were only 3 monster beasts in the vicinity. GG. The bright red fluffy bird on top of his head was the first to speak. Although it could not communicate with its mind, Lin Yuan could still hear the contempt in its voice. It seemed to be mocking him, a mere level 7 monster, for daring to enter the Xuanhuan Mountains to hunt for food. He was really reckless. Lin Yuan thought for a moment. He subconsciously wanted to retreat and change his route into the Xuanhuan Mountains. First of all, there were no monster beasts in other places. He could totally blend in. There was no need to fight with these 3 monster beasts who gathered together for some unknown reason. Secondly, after monster beasts entered level 5, they would awaken their innate abilities. For example, Badu's stone armor and his ability to control water. The python's ability should be camouflage. It was somewhat similar to the concealment skill given by the system. It could blend in with the surrounding environment and wouldn't move easily. However, once it moved, it would definitely be a thunderous attack. This kind of innate ability was considered useless among the high-level monster beasts. As long as one could go around it, it would have no way to deal with it. However, the bird and the tiger had not yet revealed their innate abilities, especially the bird. When Lin Yuan fought with the double-headed gray eagle, it almost left a psychological shadow. Without a suitable long-range method, facing this kind of flying monster beast, even Lin Yuan could only hold his head and be beaten. If this bird's innate ability was long-range, Lin Yuan might not be able to hold on until the stage of close combat. Whoosh! Just as Lin Yuan retreated, the bird on top of his head suddenly moved. Its 2-meter body was not worth mentioning in front of a huge monster like Lin Yuan. However, the moment it opened its mouth, it directly spat out a scarlet flame dragon. Fuck. Lin Yuan frowned and cursed. His abdominal muscles squeezed and he also opened his mouth. He directly squeezed out the lake water stored in his abdomen and collided with the flame dragon. Zzz, ear-piercing sounds continued to ring. Lin Yuan's water column and the flame dragon cancelled each other out. They turned into white steam and dissipated. For the time being, there was no clear winner. However, Lin Yuan was very clear that the lake water stored in his body was ultimately limited. The flame that the bird spat out should be some kind of energy from its own body. If this kind of energy was abundant, unless Lin Yuan could move the entire lake to this area, it would be impossible for him to fight a protracted battle. However, the remaining 2 demonic beasts clearly did not intend to let Lin Yuan fight a protracted battle. The 3-tailed multicolored tiger's 4 limbs landed on the ground. Its robust muscles exploded with power in the most perfect state. The distance of 160 meters was almost instantly crossed by it and appeared in front of Lin Yuan in an instant. It raised its thick tiger claws and heavily slapped down on Lin Yuan's snake head. Damn you. Lin Yuan closed his mouth and stopped his action of wasting time with the fire-breathing sparrow. He pulled back, but half of his snake head was still hit by the 3-tailed multicolored tiger's palm. In an instant, he felt the scene in front of him turn black and his head become dizzy. This was the first time Lin Yuan experienced the feeling of seeing stars since he came to this world. The 3-tailed multicolored tiger and the fire-breathing sparrow were actually cooperating. Shaking his head, Lin Yuan readjusted his fighting posture. His blue-white vertical pupils stared at the 3-tailed multicolored tiger's every move. He did not want to be slapped by a LV9 demonic beast again. Fortunately, the fire-breathing sparrow had already stopped spitting flames. It was unknown whether it was because it did not have enough energy in its body or because it did not want to accidentally hurt the 3-tailed multicolored tiger. However, it was still staring at Lin Yuan as if it was preparing for the next attack. A layer of blood appeared in Lin Yuan's vision. Although he could not see the extent of his injury, it was obvious that the 3-tailed multicolored tiger's palm had already smashed his head. Now that the red screen was blocking his vision, it should be the blood flowing out from the wound. However, the feeling of pain did not come for a long time. Lin Yuan even suspected that the 3-tailed multicolored tiger's palm had directly stunned his reaction nerves. Rumble. The sky suddenly lit up with a deathly white color. Then came the rumbling of thunder. A heavy downpour came at this moment, washing away this forest that was full of killing intent. Chapter 53. Ding. Detected that the host is in danger, triggering the special mission, King of the Jungle. Name, King of the Jungle. Description: you who have reached the wisdom state have taken a fearless and ignorant step and arrived at the stage where the top predators compete with each other. Now you are facing 3 strong opponents. Until the final moment, no one knows the result. Will you kill all your opponents or be torn to pieces by your opponents? From now on, no one can leave this battlefield. Please fight to your heart's content. Mission reward: 1 chance to shed skin. Failure punishment: death. Looking at the new mission, Lin Yuan's blue-white vertical pupils were filled with killing intent. He didn't want to fight with these 3 monsters, but they didn't seem to want to let him go. Since that's the case, then let's fight. As the rain fell, Lin Yuan felt that he had obviously become stronger. Although the effect of adding 1 to all attributes brought by the rain was not obvious under the 2-digit attributes, at such a moment, even 1 attribute point may determine the outcome of this battle. Golden Body Secrets. Tail Strike. Without hesitation, Lin Yuan turned his snake body and swung his tail, which had been tempered to a dark golden color, at the 3-tailed multicolored tiger that had just given him a head-on blow. He wasn't a snake that held a grudge. If he had a grudge, he would take revenge on the spot. Seeing Lin Yuan counterattack with his snake tail, the 3-tailed multicolored tiger's eyes showed a touch of human contempt. After all, it was a Class 9 monster. How could a Class 7 black snake compare to its physical strength? Therefore, the 3-tailed multicolored tiger had no intention of dodging. It raised its tiger claws again and slapped at Lin Yuan's snake tail. Bang! The snake tail and the tiger claw collided, and the sound of the rain was suppressed for a moment. Under Lin Yuan's snake body that was supporting his body, black cracks like a spider web suddenly spread out. The 3-tailed tiger, however, was unable to withstand Lin Yuan's tail attack and was sent flying out on the spot. It flew 30 meters away. The tiger claw that collided with the snake tail was already badly mutilated, as if it was crippled. Lin Yuan opened his snake mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. His blue and white eyes stared at the 3-tailed tiger that was sent flying. He didn't have much of an advantage in terms of strength against strength. It was only the effect of the golden body technique that helped him avoid some of the damage, so he wasn't sent flying on the spot. The tempered dark gold snake body was fine, but the snake body that hadn't been tempered cracked inch by inch, tearing open hideous wounds. Whoosh! The fire-breathing sparrow opened its mouth again and spat out a fire dragon at Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan smiled contemptuously. His mind moved and the falling rainwater instantly flowed backward. Layer by layer, the rainwater rotated to protect the icicle in the middle and directly hit the fire dragon of the fire-breathing sparrow. After all, the fire-breathing sparrow's fire dragon suffered from the weather. The power of the fire dragon was far less than before, and the amount of water that Lin Yuan controlled was far more terrifying than before. Therefore, in this collision, the fire-breathing sparrow couldn't even confront Lin Yuan. The fire dragon was extinguished, and the icicle directly pierced its chest and sent it flying. Come on. Come and mess with me. Lin Yuan roared angrily with his mind. The 3-tailed multicolored tiger stood up shakily from the ground. The bloody claw instantly healed, but one of its tails was missing. Seeing this scene, Lin Yuan's expression turned solemn. This 3-tailed multicolored tiger's innate talent was amazing. It was actually something similar to the 9-life cat, but it used one of its tails to heal one of its claws. Obviously, it didn't really have 3 lives to fight with Lin Yuan. The 3-tailed multicolored tiger stood up, just in time to see the fire-breathing sparrow being sent flying. Without waiting for it to react, Lin Yuan's huge snake body burst out with agility that was completely incompatible with its body size. In an instant, Lin Yuan came to its side and opened his bloody mouth to bite the 3-tailed multicolored tiger's throat. A cold snake hiss sounded. The python, which hadn't moved before, saw that Lin Yuan had the upper hand at this moment. It didn't dare to have the idea of reaping the benefits of a fisherman's fight. It twisted its huge snake body and coiled up. The 2 behemoths, both close to 30 meters long, intertwined together. Even as a level 9 demonic beast, the 3-tailed multicolored tiger couldn't help but show a frightened expression. It subconsciously wanted to escape from this battlefield, but a black snake tail and a brown snake tail coiled around at the same time, directly pulling the 3-tailed multicolored tiger in. Even if the 3-tailed multicolored tiger tried its best to resist, leaving 2 deep and long scratch marks on the ground with its 2 front paws, it was still forcibly dragged into the center of the entanglement between the 2 pythons. Roar! A tiger roar filled with despair and unwillingness sounded. The 3-tailed multicolored tiger was strangled by the 2 pythons' twisting bodies. Its flesh and bones were directly twisted into minced meat. Even the hardest part of its head at this moment had been squeezed until its eyes protruded and its bones cracked. Clearly it was not far from completely collapsing. Come, let's see who will kill who. Feeling the strength of the brown python strangling him, Lin Yuan's snake mouth continuously spilled blood, and even some broken pieces of his internal organs were also expelled. Whether it was the three demonic beasts taking the initiative to attack or the system's mission, Lin Yuan was ruthless. If it was in the past, he wouldn't be so crazy as to entangle and strangle a python that was about the same size as him. Strangle, strangle, strangle. The system's skills were activated again and again. Lin Yuan's eyes were blurred, and he had even lost his mind. He was only instinctively launching attacks. The black snake scales rolled and cracked, and a large amount of flesh was directly squeezed out. One could even see the dense white bones in Lin Yuan's body. It could be seen that the battle was fierce. Of course, his opponent's condition wasn't much better. It was completely relying on its instincts to continue entangling with Lin Yuan. Under such an intense entanglement, Lin Yuan's proficiency of the strangle skill also rose rapidly. Ding! Congratulations to the host. The proficiency of the strangle skill has been stacked to the max. It has successfully advanced to death entanglement. Suddenly, an electronically synthesized sound from the system woke Lin Yuan up from his completely instinctive state. The brown python was still entangled with him. Clearly it still had a chance of survival. He didn't know where this thing came from. Even the three-tailed multicolored tiger couldn't withstand the strangle power, but this brown python actually ate it all. Moreover, it was mercilessly returning the favor to Lin Yuan. You're not bad, but I won. After waking up, Lin Yuan coldly smiled and added the remaining 2 attribute points to defense. Boom. Lin Yuan's aura suddenly rose. In an instant he went from a 7th-level demonic beast to a 8th-level demonic beast. All the wounds on his body also instantly healed. Chapter 54. Death entanglement was an advanced skill of strangulation, so its power was naturally incomparable. Strangulation was just a technique used by snakes to use their own muscles. While entangling the prey, they would constantly contract their own muscles, using their strength to suffocate the prey and gradually make it lose its ability to resist. Then they would crush the bones of the prey and completely turn it into a pile of rotten meat. However, death entanglement added another technique to the foundation of strangulation. It was somewhat similar to one of the crocodile hunting techniques that Lin Yuan had seen on TV in his previous life. Death roll. After entangling the target, it would carry out a small but high-frequency tearing and crushing effect. Just by adding a way to use the muscles, the damage caused would increase exponentially. A long snake hiss came out of Lin Yuan's mouth. It was not loud, but it was a long snake hiss. He was venting the emotions in his heart, and at the same time he was announcing to the Xuanhuan mountain range that a new top predator had officially entered this stage. Shaking his snake body, Lin Yuan pulled his body away from the pile of rotten meat. His blue and white vertical pupils drifted as he began to search for the fire-breathing sparrow that he had severely injured with the icicles. The prompt for killing the prey did not sound, but the three-tailed tiger and the brown python were already dead. Even if the system determined that the three-tailed tiger was killed by the brown python, then after he killed the brown python, the system should have sounded with a notification and given him an attribute point reward. Lin Yuan thought for a moment and felt that the system should have not given him a reward because the mission was not completed yet. Thinking of this, Lin Yuan's heart also had a touch of fear. If he hadn't been awakened by the prompt of the skill advancement from the state of completely relying on instinct to fight, and if he hadn't reserved the attribute points to advance to the rank 8 monster beast in advance, then it would be hard to say who would win and who would lose between him and the brown python. Even if he was lucky enough to win, the bird that was hit by the icicle was not something he could deal with in his near-death state. After advancing to the 8th level, Lin Yuan's snake body had grown to an extremely frightening extent. The previous 7 levels of growth only added up to 25 meters, but the 8th level allowed his body to grow to 40 meters, almost catching up to the total growth of the previous 7 levels. Moreover, it wasn't just the length of his body that had grown. At this moment, his snake body had also reached the width of a large wooden barrel, which was about 2 meters. The current Lin Yuan was a true colossus. Logically speaking, the benefits of an increase in size were great. At the very least, it could provide more power. However, the drawbacks were also not small. For example, an increase in food intake, an increase in risk of exposure, and so on. He was rather envious of that wisdom realm mountain-shaking ape. It was able to control its body to the level of an ordinary ape. He didn't know if it was an innate talent or some kind of high-level demonic beast skill. As he pondered, Lin Yuan wriggled his snake body and swam around the area designated as a battlefield by the system. The snake's tongue flickered continuously, and the scene within a 500-meter radius appeared in Lin Yuan's mind and was constantly being updated. Found it. Lin Yuan's slithering snake body paused for a moment. He lifted his huge snake head and looked at a towering tree in front of him. The bright red fluffy bird no longer had its previous appearance. At this moment, its feathers were completely soaked by the rain and stuck to its body in a mess. There was a scorched scar on its chest. Based on the visual observation, it should be Lin Yuan's icicle that had pierced through its chest. Then it used flames to burn its wound in order to stop the large amount of blood from flowing out. The treatment of wounds by wild beasts was incomparable to that of humans. After all, in the jungle, even the slightest injury could cause a top predator to lose its life. Chirp chirp. Seeing Lin Yuan's gaze fall on its body, the fire-breathing sparrow immediately cried out in panic. With its small brain capacity, it simply couldn't understand how things had developed to this point. Two level 8 monster beasts working together with a level 9 monster beast were actually killed by a level 7 monster beast. Moreover, the level 7 monster beast had even advanced in the battle. Lin Yuan did not pay attention to the fire-breathing sparrow. His eyes were indifferent as he controlled the falling rain, turning them into sharp icicles that pierced through the fire-breathing sparrow's small body. Natural selection, survival of the fittest. This was the most basic law of the jungle. Whether it was in the past, present, or future, it would not change. Lin Yuan had already made the first move to retreat. However, the greed of these three monsters had activated the system's deathmatch task. During this period of time, this was the first time Lin Yuan had seen the system use its own power to interfere with his advance and retreat in a battle. Was it because the dove snake's bone had almost stolen its power? Or was it because Lin Yuan had chosen to retreat when facing these three monsters? In short, no matter which of these two reasons it was, Lin Yuan could be sure that the system was now very angry. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the task, King of the Jungle. The reward is a chance to shed skin. Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing level 8 monster fire sparrow. The reward is 1 attribute point. Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing level 8 monster deadwood python. The reward is 1 attribute point. Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing level 9 monster undying tiger. The reward is 3 attribute points. A series of synthesized electronic sounds rang out. Lin Yuan felt somewhat weak and limp. Although when he advanced, the system's power had healed all the injuries on his body. However, the feeling of walking through the gates of hell was not a good feeling. Lin Yuan's mind was now exhausted to the extreme. Opening his bloody mouth, Lin Yuan swallowed the fire sparrow on the ground into his mouth. Wriggling his oral muscles, he sent it into his digestive system. This could be considered one of the advantages of snakes. Because they only had venomous fangs, snakes would never tear apart a monster's corpse. Basically, they would swallow it whole, minimizing the drawback of the smell of blood. Although the fire sparrow's body was not big, it was after all a level 8 monster. The energy contained within its flesh was simply not comparable to that of a normal monster. Therefore, while continuously digesting the fire sparrow in his stomach, Lin Yuan could clearly feel a warm current flowing through his body. It was a bit similar to the feeling of the golden body secrets tempering the body. However, it was clear that even if Lin Yuan used all this energy to cultivate the golden body secrets, he would not be able to temper a 1-meter-long snake body. On the contrary, he might lose his mind due to hunger and rashly intrude into the territory of a powerful monster. When he was in the monster forest, it did not matter. However, in the Xuanhuan Mountains, Lin Yuan had no choice but to be cautious. The three monsters in front of him had already given him a vivid lesson. Level 8 and Level 9 demonic beasts were terrifying existences that could dominate the entire demonic beast forest. However, in the Xuanhuan Mountains they were only weaklings at the bottom of the food chain. They could only gather together to hunt for prey. Chapter 55. The next day early morning. In the outer region of the Xuanhuan mountain range in a calm lake. Lin Yuan hid his 40-meter-long snake body under the lake. Yesterday Lin Yuan didn't encounter any suitable prey. Apart from the first 3 demonic beasts, Lin Yuan didn't encounter any suitable targets. Even the corpses of the deadwood python and undying tiger were not eaten by Lin Yuan. This was because after swallowing the fire sparrow, he heard a faint sound. Although he didn't know what kind of demonic beast was approaching him, Lin Yuan was sure that it wasn't something that he could deal with. 2 Class 8 demonic beasts and 1 Class 9 demonic beast. Although they were only at the bottom of the food chain when they fought to the death, even Class 10 demonic beasts had no choice but to retreat. After Lin Yuan killed these 3 demonic beasts, he didn't even have time to eat before a new demonic beast appeared in that area. What did this mean? It meant that the other party was definitely not some weak scavenging demonic beast. It probably didn't even put Lin Yuan in its eyes, so it directly swaggered over and prepared to devour Lin Yuan's spoils of war. Since even a clay figurine would have some temper, Lin Yuan very obediently retreated. After he left, the system's voice slowly sounded, telling Lin Yuan that it was a wisdom perception demonic beast. As for the lake that Lin Yuan was hiding in, it was also a temporary shelter that he found with great difficulty. Originally there was a group of piranhas that occupied this place, but the strongest one was only a Class 7 demonic beast. After confirming that Lin Yuan was a water snake, they very willingly left this area of water. Could be said that it was quite realistic. At this moment, there were 7 bull-shaped demonic beasts that were close to 10 feet long drinking water by the lakeside. There were 4 bull-shaped demonic beasts that had already finished drinking water and were lying on the ground resting. From time to time, they would shake their tails to drive away mosquitoes. A total of 11 Class 9 demonic beasts. Lin Yuan resisted the urge to launch a sneak attack and quietly observed the herd. Yesterday the level 9 undead tiger had given him 3 attribute points. In Lin Yuan's eyes, these wild bulls were moving attribute point gift bags. However, Lin Yuan still had some self-awareness. He knew very well that 11 level 9 mystical beasts were beyond his ability. Even if he could kill 1 or 2 of them with a sneak attack, he would be trampled into meat paste by the rest of the herd. Hunters were very patient, so Lin Yuan was waiting for a suitable opportunity to strike. The snake flicked its forked tongue out of habit, and another scene appeared in its mind. Lin Yuan suddenly became spirited. He was not the only hunter. In the nearby forest, 6 giant wolves with snow-white fur, each of them 7 feet long, had gathered at an unknown time. These white wolves looked travel-worn. It was obvious that they had been following behind the herd. In their scarlet eyes, there was no trace of greed. They seemed to be waiting for all the wild bulls to finish drinking water and rest before attacking. In the natural world, felines were the natural enemies of snakes because they had reactions that were not inferior to snakes. Although the white wolves were canines, they had agility that was not inferior to most felines. At the same time, they also had intelligence and cooperation that other animals could not reach. Lin Yuan was glad that he did not act rashly. Otherwise, if he disturbed the herd, these white wolves would definitely treat him as a substitute for the herd and devour him. Finally, all the wild bulls finished drinking water and lazily lay on the shore to rest. They seemed to know this body of water very well. They knew that the piranha demonic beasts in the body of water would not pose any threat to them. Whoa! At this moment, the leader of the white wolves suddenly howled to the sky. It seemed to be a signal to launch an attack. At this moment, the wild bulls could not escape immediately, nor could they immediately get up to meet the enemy. It was indeed the best time to attack. 6 white wolves pounced out of the forest and attacked the 3 wild bulls in groups of 2. Lin Yuan, who witnessed all this, sneered. These white wolves were smart. The wild bulls that they attacked were also the older ones. For this kind of social animal, nothing was more important than the reproduction of the group. If the white wolves attacked a few young bulls, the herd of wild bulls would definitely fight to the death. But it was another matter when the white wolves attacked the old bulls. These wild bulls might give up the few old bulls that were entangled by the white wolves and retreat in order to ensure the safety of the young bulls. However, the next scene subverted Lin Yuan's understanding. Because the herd of wild bulls that stood up did not intend to retreat at all. Instead, they launched a charge at the white wolves. What appeared in the eyes of the bulls was not fear, but the excitement of seeing prey. I almost forgot that there are no demonic beasts that are vegetarian. These wild bulls are food in the eyes of the white wolves, and the white wolves are also food in the eyes of the wild bulls. Lin Yuan calmed down for a while before he cleaned up the complicated emotions in his heart. This was the first time he saw a herd of wild bulls hunting a pack of wolves. Just as the 2 sides were fighting, Lin Yuan, who was hiding in the water, moved. His body covered in black snake scales suddenly broke out of the water like a huge shadow. Under the horrified gaze of one of the wild bulls, he directly bit its head and dragged it into the lake. His sharp poisonous fangs pierced into the wild bull's neck, and without hesitation he poured the poison into it. In an instant the wild bull lost most of its ability to resist. Under Lin Yuan's death entanglement, it approached death step by step. Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing the level 9 demonic beast, Barbarian Earth Bull. The reward is 2 attribute points. When the system notification rang out, Lin Yuan had already started to devour the dead wild bull's corpse. It seemed that the Barbarian Earth Bull was far inferior to the undying tiger that was entangled by the 2 pythons yesterday. It only provided Lin Yuan with 2 attribute points. With the appearance of Lin Yuan, the battle between the white wolves and the Barbarian Earth Bulls became a little more complicated. Except for the 2 Barbarian Earth Bulls that were bitten in the vital parts and could no longer stand up, the rest of the Barbarian Earth Bulls had gathered together and were staring covetously at the wolves that were baring their teeth. At the same time, they were also afraid of Lin Yuan, who would emerge from the water again. I'm still not full. Lin Yuan couldn't help but sigh as he swallowed the Barbarian Earth Bull completely. After his body grew bigger, the requirement for energy had also increased by a lot. Even after eating the Barbarian Earth Bull, he didn't feel full at all. He was only 1/3 full, which was only slightly better than the fire sparrow he had eaten yesterday. Ripples appeared on the surface of the water once again. Both the white wolves and the Barbarian Earth Bulls became alert at this moment. This meant that the black snake had already eaten its prey and was preparing for its next hunt. Chapter 56. Lin Yuan, who was already on the surface of the water, saw the actions of the 2 sides and extinguished any thoughts of taking advantage of the situation. He opened the attribute panel and added a bunch of points. After all, there were still monsters that would die in his hands, and he had already accumulated 7 points. If he exceeded the current limit of 8 points, it would be a huge loss. Host, Lin Yuan status, Big Black Snake, Evolvable, Realm, 8 out of 10 talent. 1. Identify the enemy's location based on smell, unable to evolve. 2. Create an accurate image of a 500-meter radius based on smell, 0/100. 3. Water/ice control, 0 out of 100, speed, 14 defense, 13 attack, 14 assignable points, 0 martial arts, golden body secrets, 12 out of 40, skills, 1. Death coil, 1 of 300, 2. Poison enhancement, 1 out of 100, 3. Tail strike, 14 out of 100, item. Light feather random system template X1. Lin Yuan was not in a hurry to increase the proficiency. After all, yesterday's experience had taught him a lesson. No matter what, he had to ensure that he had a chance to level up. At a critical moment, this could save his life. After adding the attribute points, Lin Yuan raised his eyes and began to size up the white wolves and Barbarian Earth Bulls that were confronting each other. He was very clear that whether it was the Barbarian Earth Bulls or the white wolves, they had regarded his sudden appearance as the biggest change in this hunt. Lin Yuan even suspected that if it were not for the blood feud between the 2 sides, they would have joined hands to deal with a lone predator like him first. Moo! The leading Barbarian Earth Bull roared at the sky and glared fiercely at the white wolves. Then it led the herd and slowly retreated towards the forest. You want to leave? Have you asked for my permission? Lin Yuan's blue-white vertical pupils focused. He immediately communicated with the white wolf leader with his mind. Let's work together and kill these Barbarian Earth Bulls. You can take 6 of their corpses and I'll take the rest. The white wolf leader looked at Lin Yuan with a little more awe. After all, only a great demon of the wisdom state had the ability to communicate with the demon beasts of other races with his mind. Okay. Without much hesitation, the leader of the white wolves immediately agreed. Although there were only 6 white wolves gathered here, they were only in charge of hunting in a wolf pack. The 2 Barbarian Earth Bulls were only enough to fill their stomachs. There were still she-wolves and pups in the pack that needed to be fed. It was extremely unwilling to let these Barbarian Earth Bulls leave just like that. After receiving the White Wolf Chief's affirmation, Lin Yuan's thick snake body suddenly twisted in the lake, and a large amount of lake water was splashed out. While the water splashed out, Lin Yuan activated his innate ability without hesitation and turned them into ice walls, blocking the Barbarian Earth Bull's path of retreat. Seeing that Lin Yuan had made a move, the White Wolf leader did not intend to slack off. After all, it was a promise between demonic beasts. Even if it was just a verbal promise, both parties would honor it with their names. Suddenly, snow began to flutter between heaven and earth. Countless wind and frost wrapped together and turned into sharp blades that sliced towards the barbarian earth bulls. The other party was obviously not a fool. When they saw this scene, they knew that the black snake and the white wolf had joined hands. The remaining 8 barbarian earth bulls stomped their feet on the ground at the same time, and a yellow shockwave collided with the wind and frost released by the white wolves. The innate abilities of the two groups of demonic beasts intertwined with each other. Lin Yuan suddenly leaped out of the water, and his 40-meter-long snake body almost covered the sky as he fiercely landed on the barbarian earth bulls. The barbarian earth bull's leader maintained its posture of stomping its feet to summon the yellow shockwave. At the same time, it tilted its head and adjusted its horns, as if it was waiting for Lin Yuan to crash into it. Golden Body Secrets. Tail Strike. Lin Yuan seemed to have adjusted his posture as soon as the barbarian earth bull's leader reacted. His dark golden snake tail was like a steel whip as it ruthlessly whipped the barbarian earth bull's head. Moo! The barbarian earth bull's leader cried out in pain as it was directly sent flying by Lin Yuan's snake tail. The bull's head was badly mutilated, and even half of its horns were smashed by Lin Yuan. The barbarian earth bull's leader was stunned. Not to mention that Lin Yuan was only an 8th-level demonic beast. Even among 9th-level demonic beasts, it was rare to find an existence that could match its strength. However, Lin Yuan's snake tail directly sent the barbarian earth bull flying for 3 meters. Lin Yuan himself did indeed land lightly on the ground, as if he was not affected at all. Moo! The other 7 barbarian earth bulls also roared one after another, trying to help their leader. However, the 6 white wolves suddenly pounced on them and blocked the restless barbarian earth bulls. Once again, the battle that was interrupted by Lin Yuan just now began. Lin Yuan leisurely slithered to the barbarian earth bull's leader's side. His huge black snake body formed a U shape as he slowly raised his snake tail. The tip of his dark golden tail slowly pressed half an inch above the barbarian earth bull's head. Then the snake tail suddenly sank down. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have killed the 9th-level demonic beast, barbarian earth bull. You have received 3 attribute points. The system's voice rang out the moment the barbarian earth bull's leader died. Lin Yuan was also satisfied as he pulled out the snake tail from the barbarian earth bull's corpse. Regardless of whether a demonic beast of the same level was strong or weak, it could only bring him 1 attribute point. Even the withered wood python that almost took his life was the same. However, when he killed a demonic beast of a higher level, the strength of the demonic beast could change the attribute points Lin Yuan received. This mechanism seemed to be the system encouraging Lin Yuan to challenge a demonic beast that was stronger than him. Moreover, during the life and death battle yesterday, Lin Yuan couldn't remember how many times he used strangle against the withered wood python. However, he was certain that he didn't use strangle more than 90 times. However, his proficiency level reached 100 points and he completed a skill advancement. Could it be that the state of a battle between life and death could increase the effect of his skill training? While Lin Yuan was relaxing his mind, the white wolves and the barbarian earth bulls were fighting with their lives on the line. Lin Yuan's blue-white vertical pupils swept across the battlefield. His snake mouth cracked open, revealing an ugly smile. Barbarian earth bulls? White wolves? Sorry, only children can choose. Adults want all of them. When the 2 groups of demonic beasts were both injured, it would be time for Lin Yuan to enter the battlefield and reap the harvest. Oh whoa! The white wolves turned their heads and howled. It seemed to be extremely dissatisfied with Lin Yuan's action of not helping them deal with the barbarian earth bulls after killing the barbarian earth bull's leader. When Lin Yuan saw that the situation was about to end and that most of the demonic beasts were on the verge of death, he twisted his snake body and slowly approached the battlefield. When he arrived beside the white wolves, Lin Yuan swung his dark golden snake tail and directly pierced through the white wolf's abdomen. Chapter 57. Hot blood slowly flowed down the snake's tail. Lin Yuan's blue and white vertical pupils flashed with a touch of coldness. There were too many high-level monsters in the Hengduan Mountains. Except for the rabbits and birds, which generally had low bloodlines, almost all of them were predators. This situation was not what Lin Yuan wanted to see. A forest of demonic beasts could not satisfy his expanding ambition, so he came to a bigger stage. In Lin Yuan's eyes, all demonic beasts were just mobile attribute points or energy that could be used to supply the body for consumption and cultivation. The black snake's tail gently swung, and the white wolf leader, whose eyes were full of anger, was heavily thrown out. It crashed into 2 big trees before it completely stopped breathing. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully killing a level 9 monster, Frost Wolf. The reward is 2 attribute points. The system notification sounded in his ears, and Lin Yuan shook his head with some disappointment. This Frost Wolf leader that commanded 5 Frost Wolves should only be a member of a large hunting group. Its strength was not enough for the system to reward Lin Yuan with additional attribute points. Ding, system notification, the host killed Snow Fong of the Winterwolf clan. The favorability of the Winterwolf clan decreased by 15 points, and the relationship between the factions decreased to indifferent. Lin Yuan was slightly startled. He had killed a lot of monsters, but this was the first time the system mentioned the relationship between factions. The Hungduan Mountains is not like the monster forest. The predators that can be active here, in addition to their own strength, each have their own clan behind them. For example, Batu is a member of the mountain-shaking ape stone-shattering clan. Currently, the host's relationship with the stone-shattering clan is mild. In the system's relationship model, there are 12 levels: mortal enemy, blood enemy, hostile, hatred, indifferent, neutral, mild, friendly, intimate, ally, and unswerving. Among them, the relationship between mortal enemies and undying will never change. At this point, they will either fight to the death or live and die together. Unless the host saves the other party's clan or does something evil that angers the heavens and the people, this level of relationship will never change. The system's cold electronic voice sounded, explaining this new relationship model. Lin Yuan was silent. This should be a template that came with the system itself. It was just that it wasn't activated in the monster forest. Other than Batu, this force template didn't have any meaning in the monster forest. Whoa. While Lin Yuan was distracted, the Frost Wolf and Barbarian Earth Bull attacked Lin Yuan simultaneously. However, Lin Yuan didn't dare to provoke a group of vigorous LV9 demon beasts, but Lin Yuan really didn't care about a group of exhausted or even wounded LV9 demon beasts. Tail attack, poison fang, death coil. Lin Yuan threw out the system's skills one after another. In just a short moment, the remaining 12 demonic beasts all had their bones broken by Lin Yuan. They lay on the ground whimpering. Even the 2 calves of the barbarian earth bulls weren't able to escape. Although they couldn't provide the same attribute points as a class 9 demonic beast, Lin Yuan had no reason to let them go. The phrase "raising a tiger is inviting calamity" applied to any place. After slowly swallowing the leader of the barbarian earth bulls and the snowy fang of the East Wolf clan, Lin Yuan felt that he was 80% full. After calming down, Lin Yuan started to use the energy from the demonic beast's flesh and blood to refine his body according to the circulation route of the golden body secrets. However, the results weren't satisfactory. The energy from the 3 class 9 demonic beasts only made his body 3 inches long. In terms of attribute points, he saved about 0.3 attribute points. This was a very laughable number. At least, that was what Lin Yuan thought. The 3 class 9 demonic beasts could provide Lin Yuan with at least 6 attribute points. If he put all of them into the proficiency of the golden body secrets, he could refine a 6-meter dark golden snake body. The difference was obvious. After slaughtering the remaining demonic beasts, Lin Yuan obtained a total of 21 attribute points. He kept 1 for his advancement in a life and death situation. The rest of the attribute points were all put into the golden body secrets by Lin Yuan. Host, Lin Yuan status, Big Black Snake, Evolvable, Realm, 8 out of 10 talent, 1. Identify the enemy's location based on smell, cannot be advanced, 2. Form an accurate image of a 500-meter radius around the body based on smell, 0/100, 3. Water/ice control 0 out of 100, speed, 14 defense, 13 attack, 14 assignable points, 1 martial arts, golden body secrets 33 3 out of 40, skills, 1. Death coil, 1 of 300, 2. Venom enhancement, 1 out of 100, 3. Tail strike, 14 out of 100, item. Light feather chance to molt X1. Glancing at his current attributes, Lin Yuan nodded in satisfaction. The snake body had been refined to 33.3 meters. Lin Yuan was most satisfied with the fact that his 7 inches, his biggest weakness, had been refined by the golden body secrets. His survivability had increased by more than 10 times. After pondering for a while, Lin Yuan's snake body froze. Where's my stuff? Where the F***ck did my big random system model go to? Where did the host think the relationship model came from? Remember, the system never gives out charity for no reason. After the host killed Snowfang of the Winterwolf clan, the condition to activate the relationship model was met, so the item was automatically used up. The system's voice was still cold, but it couldn't hold back its mocking tone. Lin Yuan choked for a moment. A proficiency model had given him enough benefits. Although it had greatly suppressed his advancement speed with this proficiency model, not to mention being invincible in the same realm, even a level 9 monster would be vulnerable in front of the current Lin Yuan. That was why Lin Yuan had been keeping the chance to unlock the random system template. He didn't expect this Russian Matryoshka doll system to be so stubborn. However, the system's words gave Lin Yuan a new direction. If he knew which models existed in the system, he could keep an item to unlock the system template and change it to a specific one, just like how his own wishes could affect the system's skill selection. The system was generous. It didn't care if Lin Yuan could exploit the system's loopholes. Unlike in the games in his previous life, once a bug appeared, the system would immediately repair it. As long as Lin Yuan had the ability, the system would never stop him. Open the relationship model. Lin Yuan replied weakly. Although he didn't know if the item used to unlock the system template was a good thing or a bad thing, since it was already unlocked, he had to see what this new system template was. Anyway, it was one of the unlocked models. With the current power of the system, there might be some surprises. Relationship model. Own faction can be renamed leader, Lin Yuan member, Batu 100, Mountain Shaking Ape Clan. Gentle, Frostwolf Winterwolf Clan. Cold, Demon Slayer Iron Hand Squad. Leader, Iron Hand member. Hatred, Mountain Blocking Cities Lu Clan. Mortal enemy. Chapter 58. System, what does the 100 behind Bata mean? Lin Yuan coiled up his snake body and asked. He didn't mind the hostile relationship between Demon Slayer and the Lu family. It was an undeserved calamity. Judging from how the Lu family's old ancestor coveted Lin Yuan's flesh and blood, the two sides had an irreconcilable relationship. Even if the Lu family stopped now and didn't target Lin Yuan would still have to pay them back in the future. As for the Iron Hand Society of the Demon Slayer, although Lin Yuan only met the other party face to face, the other party was scared away by the door of the Gravel clan. Lin Yuan can only understand this hatred relationship as wealth moving people's hearts. Loyalty. Because it is a mission reward, Bata's loyalty has been raised to the maximum. However, host must remember the 2-year agreement between you and Batu. If host is unable to complete the mission after 2 years, not only will Batu attack host, the Stony Stone clan's relationship with host's faction will also drop to hostile. However, after host completes the mission, Bata's loyalty will be fixed at 100 and he will automatically become host's trusted aide. Moreover, host has given Batu a new lease of life, so your relationship with the Stony Stone clan will also improve. System is awesome. Lin Yuan once again sighed from the bottom of his heart. He originally thought that this new model was a trap, but he didn't expect it to be a godly skill. With this faction relationship model, Lin Yuan could check the loyalty of the members of his faction at any time. He didn't need to use time-consuming methods like probing and could directly see who was on his side and who was a traitor. Ding. Unknown energy detected. Target's energy is too strong. Host, please escape as soon as possible. Before Lin Yuan could ask any further questions, the system's notification sounded again. Lin Yuan's snake face was full of question marks. He had seen the power of the system before. Whether it was a demonic beast or a spiritual item, the system could scan them all. Even if the opponent was a strange item like the green leaf lotus, which could extend the lifespan of mortals and give them the opportunity to ascend to immortality, it couldn't escape the system's scan. What kind of existence could it be that the system couldn't scan and could only say that it was an unknown energy? Neither a demonic beast nor a spiritual item? How could there be such a miraculous object in this world? A woo. Moo. All kinds of beast roars rose from all over the Hengduan Mountains. Lin Yuan's eyes narrowed slightly. He turned his head with a stunned expression and looked at the lake where he had been resting. A vast amount of energy was brewing under the water, as if it was going to burst out at any moment. In the face of such a terrifying energy that even shook the entire Hengduan Mountains, Lin Yuan's first reaction was not fear, but a sense of desire that rose from the depths of his heart. He wanted to pounce forward and swallow that thing into his stomach. Wait a minute. Lin Yuan was shocked. Why did this scene seem so familiar? F***ck. Lin Yuan subconsciously cursed. Then he twisted his snake body and darted into the distance. The last time the cold stone grass matured, it was the same feeling. In a while, countless demonic beasts in the Xuanhuan mountains might gather here. A stalk of cold stone grass that could allow any demonic beast below level 10 to advance by one level didn't evoke the desire in Lin Yuan's heart. Then, the thing that was born this time was definitely extraordinary. Perhaps there might even be wisdom state demonic beasts appearing. Can't afford to offend, can't afford to offend. Lin Yuan, who had the system with him, actually didn't lack such things. As long as he had enough time to hunt those demonic beasts or experts among humans, sooner or later, he would become the top existence in this world. Only a fool would lose his life for a newly born spiritual item. Ding. Target scan completed. Discovered a newborn blood spirit. The system's electronic voice sounded again. Heaven and earth have spiritual energy. Beasts can become demonic beasts by absorbing spiritual energy from heaven and earth. Humans can become cultivators by absorbing spiritual energy from heaven and earth. However, spiritual energy from heaven and earth also has attributes. If it isn't absorbed for a long time, it can become a spirit. The host can refer to the elemental creatures in the fantasy novels of the previous world. Blood spirits are one of them. If it can go through 1,500 years and pass the three tribulations of wind, fire, and thunder, the elemental spirit can be promoted to a wandering immortal. I'm not listening, I'm not listening. Lin Yuan frantically shook his snake head and fled into the distance. No matter what good stuff it was, he had to be alive to take it. He wasn't a fool to snatch something from a wisdom state demonic beast. Boom. The surface of the lake behind him exploded, and a red humanoid doll broke out of the water. It looked like a 3-year-old baby and it was wearing a red doo-doo. However, its eyes were not black and white. Instead, there were two blood-red dots in the darkness, similar to the eyes of the Kaku in the anime of his previous life. Ding. Congratulations to the host for approaching the blood spirit. Triggered mission, Heaven's Gift. Name, Heaven's Gift. Description. When the elemental spirit is born, it is not guarded at all. Any creature can easily swallow and refine it. As a snake favored by fate, you are fortunate enough to witness the birth of an elemental spirit. How can you easily give up such a heavenly gift? Host, please defeat those demonic beasts that come to fight for the elemental spirit. Protect the blood spirit until it matures, then swallow and refine it. Reward. Randomly receive a blood-related innate ability. Punishment. Golden Body Secrets proficiency is reset to 0. It's here. It's here again. And it's this F*King familiar smell. And it's this kind of F*King mission. Lin Yuan was flustered and exasperated. He weakly let out a sorrowful cry. His huge snake body twisted crazily, but it was as if there was an invisible barrier in front of him. No matter what, he couldn't leave this area. And the owner of those demonic beasts' roars was getting closer and closer to this area. Ding. The blood spirit is completely born in 1 hour. Host, please work hard. This time, the system's notification wasn't the cold electronic voice. It was as if it had changed to a different voice package. It had turned into a charming voice. F***ck your grandpa. Lin Yuan was still flustered and exasperated. He let out a helpless rage. The last time he encountered the frost stone grass, he almost lost his life. That was because he didn't have enough experience. He didn't know that the system on him was the Russian Matryoshka doll system. It was completely a scam. Based on the previous lesson, when Lin Yuan heard the system's notification, he had already planned to leave. But he didn't expect the system to be so shameless and lock him in this area. Level 7, Level 8, Level 9, all kinds of demonic beasts appeared in Lin Yuan's line of sight. But most of them were very restrained. When they were 500 meters away from the lake, these demonic beasts stopped in their tracks. It was as if they were waiting for the blood spirit to be completely born. A few low-level demonic beasts couldn't hold back the desire in their hearts. But in an instant, they were directly torn to pieces by the demonic beasts that were eyeing them covetously. You're tuning in to the Sword Dance in the Vast Sky YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.